Texas won't let me in. I ain't gonna be here long. Not afraid I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, long. I ain't gonna be here long. But my heart it sure ain't pumping like it used to do. Lord knows I bump my leg and it turns black and blue. Yes, it does. Now they say that it's unhealthy the way that I live. My liver's gone, my lungs are shot, my heart's about to give. But I ain't gonna let that bother me, no. 'Cause I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son. I ain't gonna let that bother me, none, oh Lord. 'Cause I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son. I ain't gonna be here long. Not afraid I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, Lord. I ain't gonna be here long. Ain't gonna be here long. No, not afraid I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, Lord. I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son.
And welcome to Fren Report Live. This is Fren Report Live number 23, and with me tonight I have Mr. Air Raid Siren.
Howdy, folks.
I have Mr. Jamie Birch.
Inshallah, Borthers.
And I have Mr. Juke Nukem himself, Walter Cronkite, a.k.a. Johnny Ketamine, a.k.a. K-Hole, a.k.a. Johnny Down Syndrome Jr.
How's it going?
Oh, wait, wait, what was it? Robert Down Syndrome.
Robert Down Syndrome Jr.
I like Morton sounds funnier.
Yeah. Well, because there was Morton Downey Jr. too. You remember him from the 90s?
I don't.
Oh, he was like a unironic. Who's that one Screechy Jude guy from the 90s? Gilbert Godfrey.
Oh, yeah.
He was an unironic Gilbert Godfrey.
As soon as I saw his face, as soon as I looked him up and saw his face, I'm like, yeah, okay, I remember that guy.
Morty.
Yeah,
he looks like a mix between Don Knotts and Gilbert Godfrey.
Yes, and he had a shrieky kind of voice, like not as much as Gilbert Godfrey, but considering he was like unironically that, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't a bit, you know what I mean?
You know, if Gilbert Godfrey wasn't actually kind of funny, and I don't know if you guys think he is, I think he is actually kind of funny. His life would have just been fucking miserable.
Yeah,
his entire life would be just garbage. Can you imagine looking and sounding like that, and not even being funny?
Just like lost the genetic lottery in every aspect.
Yeah,
well, and that's the thing. If you're like that, you might as well like make a bit out of it and lean into it, because you're not gonna.
Well, I was gonna say he's on Cameo, for $200. He's willing to say as much fucking anti-Semitic shit as you want him to say. He doesn't care, even though he's a Jew. I was gonna say, what if we paid him to make like a shout out for our fucking show?
Yeah, that
200's pretty steep.
Fucking Jews as much as I do. Do you love the Fren Report podcast?
We'll just pay you to do it. You do a fucking
you can do it. That was pretty solid, to be honest.
I mean, maybe if I actually start making some money off this, I could do that. Well, somebody else joined.
I was just say we could also pull some money together into a PayPal account or something.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know, 200's pretty steep. It's pretty. I mean, he is a J, so I guess should expect that.
Well, if
we
we
can
each
haggle.
do $50 a piece, we'd only need 4 people to pay.
Yeah, they love to haggle. You're not wrong. Yeah.
They want their shekels.
Because
Oy
so
vey.
far, the show doesn't pay for itself yet. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind paying money to a Jew if whatever he's selling is good quality or he's funny or something.
Oof.
I would say $200 would be worth it. But
Yeah, that probably would be.
Hey, the Al Borland thing, whatever that actor's name, doing the
with the wooden doors.
yeah, I mean, I don't know who did that, but that's paying for itself 100 times over.
Yeah,
Maybe even 6 million times over.
I think the funniest one was the I think she was a politician that was like pretended to be black and then it came out that she wasn't really black and shit.
Yeah, Dolezal.
Yeah, Dolezal. They got Dolezal to go out there and she's like, no, I really want that. Everybody's doing their part, but there's 13% of y'all that are doing 55. That are like responsible for 55% of the outcome. So, I want to congratulate the 13% on the 55%.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. A good person to say that too. I like that.
Yeah, I think that was the funniest one I saw.
If you guys, Gilbert Gottfried, like every year on Hitler's birthday, apparently he like tweets a message to Hitler, like laughing, saying, "Haha, the Jews run the world now."
I didn't know that. But
Yeah.
we should get Gilbert Godfrey to talk about launching the nukes on every country in the world.
Talk about the Samson option, Gilbert.
Let me tell you my final solution.
Hey, we got Gilbert Gottfried on the show, boys, right now. Sorry to interrupt, Gilbert. Go ahead.
These Jews are a menace to society. And the only solution is to wipe them off the face of the earth with a baptism of nuclear fire.
Jeez, Gilbert, that seems a little extreme to me. Do you think that's the only solution?
Fuck you. I'm Gilbert fucking Gottfried. I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
Man's got a point. He's the man on a mission.
I was the parrot in Aladdin.
It's one of your finest performances, Gilbert.
Thank you.
Oh,
Modest
Okay,
guy, too.
We're gonna have to do the weekly Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah, everybody just witnessed the birth of a new bit.
Are there any more questions for the great King Jew, Gilbert Gottfried?
Yeah, what's with this?
It would be cool if we could actually get Martin Downey Jr. to do it. That would be. I bet he'd come cheaper too than Gilbert Godfrey.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Get him to do it, and then just tell everybody that it's Gilbert Godfrey. You're like, that's totally not Gilbert Godfrey. What the hell are you guys even talking about? No, it is. It is.
No, it's totally yeah. Yeah, they all look the same, right? Oh, so let's get into some news, why don't we? There's the
Yes.
You cannot get this type of entertainment anywhere else. This is it, boys. Whatever, got the VT that we're on here. Shit.
Oh, so what's been really sticking out to me here lately is this the head of the Iranian nuclear division or whatever the fuck, that got killed, got shot. Actually, let me see. I hope I bookmarked that thread. Let me see. I came across a thread that doesn't look like I did. God damn it. I came across a thread that was describing it. So I guess I'll just paraphrase it since I can't find the thread. But, It was apparently the way he died. So they were driving. He was in a bulletproof car and all this stuff, but he was going down the road and he'd heard like something happened where he was like thought the car broke down or something. So he got out to see what was happening with the car. And there was a truck that apparently had some remote control machine guns on it. This is Iran's official story, so.
You'd think that if you're in a fucking bulletproof car and you're the person that the car is supposed to protect, that if the fucking thing breaks down, you're the only one who should not get out of the fucking car in that situation. You should fucking stay in the car and let everyone else look at it.
You would think.
The nuclear physicist
This
is
is a
probably
fucking-
the
But I
one
think-
best equipped to.
To fix the car, that's true.
Yeah,
Maybe a
nuclear
little
physicist doesn't know shit
overqualified.
about cars.
But
You'd be surprised.
you'd be surprised, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they didn't see anybody else around. All that was there was that truck that nobody was in it. So we probably didn't see anything wrong with getting out, you know. And it was like, you know, a bit of ways and shit, you know. But apparently it had this remote control machine gun. So they went into detail like how many shots he got hit with and all this shit. And then one of the bodyguards jumped in between once he figured out what was going on and shit. And then the truck blew up.
Yeah.
So that was pretty crazy. But
It's fucking insane.
yeah, isn't it?
Like,
Yeah, it's like movie, like
what?
crazy, like James Bond movie shit.
But
Yeah, if that happened in a movie, I'd be like, fake, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry,
Not
go ahead.
anymore. Not anymore. Now you're like, oh yeah, no, that happens all the time.
right. It does sound like some crazy James or maybe Mossad shit, right? Because apparently this dude has been on Mossad's hit list for years, according to reporting in the New York Times and Times of Israel. So
I don't know why you're jumping to that conclusion about Mossad. I mean, this is the type of attack that anybody could do. I mean, like any kind of camel jockey could just throw this shit together in a couple of hours. This is
right,
clearly not
you wouldn't need any
planned
type
out.
of
Yeah.
special technology or anything.
And financing, or no, I'm sure there's
Financing that, you know, one particular country in the Middle East has been gathering up for quite some time, you know? You wouldn't need, you definitely wouldn't need that, for sure.
And what irritates me with this shit is the Americans, you guys are getting part of the blame for this thing.
Yeah.
But it's clearly not an American, a common, right now anyways, American tactic. Because you guys just launched a fucking cruise missile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
like-
not our style,
Yeah.
for one thing. For another, like, Trump is pulling all the military out of every fucking where. Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, whether they like it or not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it really wouldn't make sense for Trump to then, that, but it did happen as a lot of Biden's base is getting very disillusioned with Biden very fast, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which is,
and it was coming out, I think the same day that happened. I think the same day or maybe the day after Sidney Powell filed her lawsuits in Georgia and Michigan.
yeah.
So, and APAC and BB have made it really clear which side of that they're on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it could be to definitely stir up some shit, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I would say. I mean, I can't really see what else the point of that is, other than to try and start shit
Yeah, there's no other explanation.
that
for
they can then blame on us. You know what I mean? And by us, I mean like anybody on the right. even tangentially in America.
Yeah.
The irritating thing is the media does that, where they just ignore reality, ignore what they reported on, 6 months ago or a year ago, just completely down the memory hole, fucking 1984 shit. And they'll come out with a new story, and enough people will fucking believe it, right?
Yeah, supposedly.
It's well, it's like that link I posted there. CNN doing a expose on Dominion voting machines and how they were hacked and used in the Venezuelan election. CNN did like a big thing on it, and then a few years later, I guess almost like 14 years later, but I mean 14 years later, they're like, no, they can't be hacked. That's conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Even though they were just talking about it 2 years ago during the midterms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and in 2016, and like it comes up fairly often,
Yeah, whenever they need it to, yeah.
Yeah, basically whenever it's convenient. And then when it's inconvenient, they say, "Oh no, there's never been any evidence of voter fraud." Of course, all the people in power would have been the ones that benefited from it, so they're not going to be pushing for investigations too much now, would they?
Yeah.
Obvious flaw in that system there.
Yeah, I mean, why stick your neck out? Why would they?
To get themselves in trouble? Yeah, no.
Right.
Same reason there aren't any congressional term limits because
Right.
they're not going to vote to give
for a job
themselves.
that-
Yeah, they're not going to lobby themselves out of a job.
Yeah. Well, that's the same reason that they don't do pay cuts. They don't do, like,
Yeah,
I'm going to vote to cut my own. I mean, I would.
expense accounts, all that good shit.
Yeah, I would vote to do that type of shit, but I would never get elected because of it. Right?
Yeah.
They're going to go, fuck that guy. We're not letting him in the fucking boys club. Every once in a while, you do see somebody who kind of is a honest person gets into a position like that, and they get fucking demonized and shut out, and fucking you can't get anything done because you're fighting the system.
Yeah.
That they're fighting the system.
You're not supposed to get anything done. The whole thing is set up to just fucking stagnate,
Yeah. But I mean, like they can get their after however many years they're gonna vote themselves a pay raise. That'll fly through like nothing. But if you had somebody come up and go, well, I'm going to bring up a bill that says we should all get pay cuts and cut some of this expenses, that will die in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So there was also some weird shit in fucking Georgia today, right? Judge at first orders the thing to maintain the status quo, and they're temporarily enjoined from wiping or resetting any voting machine in the state of Georgia until further order of the court. And then, like an hour later, he totally reversed it. Same guy. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense,
Yeah.
Oh God, why would he have done such a thing?
Right?
Oh God, Murray.
Oh, well, this is crazy. So, the Atlanta area has already started. Let me see. The affidavit was plaintiffs in the lawsuit filed an emergency motion, which included an affidavit. So the process will begin with an LNA resetting the machine to 0 to begin the recount. And because the plan on Monday is to wipe the voting machines clear and start from zero so that we can recount using those machines. She was concerned about what she was seeing online. Seeing lots of notices from lawyers about possibly impounding the machines. Lawyers are now saying that the machines should be confiscated immediately before this happens to protect forensic data. And the supervisor responded, "It's what we were supposed to do. It will take a court order to stop this process," which they got for a second, and then it got reversed. The issue is the Atlanta area says it already started, which is fucking retarded because that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's Fulton County and DeKalb County are the main ones that are in question, you know. I got doubts about Newton County and Rockdale too, but Yakov Alive donated a diamond, says politics makes me want to rope, time to leave country. Yeah, I don't blame you.
Ooh, that's 100 lemons. Ooh.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, it is about time to leave.
Well, we got Frog Mama over on YouTube.
So, what would that have meant though? Like, if he hadn't reversed the order? Because, like I said, I kind of missed all of this.
Huh?
So, like, what that thing that the Georgia that they reversed? Like, what would it have meant if they didn't reverse it? It's like I said, I missed all of it.
All right, so they were trying to take the due to Sidney Powell's lawsuit and everything. She had asked that the servers get impounded before they get wiped, you know, and messed with and everything, so that so they can check it for forensic data, looking for fraud, you know.
Right.
And so the judge issued that they should all be impounded so that they can't get wiped and everything, because they're supposed to wipe them on Monday, tomorrow. For,
shit.
Yeah, because they got this Senate runoff about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I would say that's probably a bit of a jumping the gun. It seems a little bit early because that's not till January. It gives them a whole month. You know what I mean? How long does it take? But,
Yeah, there's nothing suspicious about the timing of that.
right?
Yeah.
It's so hard to tell, like, you know, if that dude was like, if any of these people are even being legitimate in the first place. Everything, like, by the day just seems faker and gayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, simply put, like, if the FBI wasn't our enemy, our absolute, complete and utter enemy, all those machines would be seized. All those machines would be seized already.
Yeah.
And there'd be a forensic audit in full tilt. And just because it looks too suspicious and they have to find out as soon as possible.
Yeah.
That would be like done and done.
Yep. Brady Smith, to answer your question about the demographics of DeKalb County, 54.8% black, 35.9% white, and then 29% Hispanic. Oh wait, no, 29% is white alone, not Hispanic or Latino. 8.5% Hispanic. They're like 6% Asian. Yeah, small stuff with the others, but
2% Jewish.
Why did they do that non-white Hispanic thing?
yeah, because they do white, and that's like 35%, but then they're like white alone, not Hispanic or Latino. That's 29%.
Well, like my dad, for example, my grandma on my dad's side of the family was Mexican,
Yeah,
but my grandpa was white. He was from Kentucky, so my dad's a non-white, as a white Hispanic. He's just half Mexican.
yeah. I mean, I had family that, you know, were in Texas before it was a state, And since right after the Louisiana Purchase, actually, and sometimes they would go over the border to Mexico and stuff. But you know, they lived over the border of Mexico for a while. But like, they were the same people, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. Yeah, I'm sure being, 50, over half black has absolutely nothing to do with
What would it?
with anything, Why would it? Exactly. Let's see, and we'll go ahead and look at Fulton County because I think the number is even worse there. Fulton County,
I wonder what the
Georgia.
literacy rate is.
Probably pretty low.
I mean, what was in Philadelphia? Like a quarter of adults functionally are illiterate.
Yeah, I think it was 22%.
And Fulton has. Wait, let me see. What the fuck? Well, let me do it like this.
They can read that dollar menu though.
Right? Popeye's got that $5 box. Let me see. And Fulton County is. Oh, it's a little half because that's where Atlanta proper is. And it's about 44.5% black, 45.5% white.
It's pretty
Of
dark.
which 7.2% is Hispanic. Yeah, so it's about half and half, though. Which makes sense for Atlanta. And how many of those are Jewish, too? That's a good question, because
Atlanta.
there's a big Chosenite contingent in that area, for sure. Biggest in the South. So,
Yeah, isn't David Cross from Atlanta?
I think so. Yeah, there's quite a few of them, for sure. There's a big
I mean,
big
that's where
Chosenite. Huh?
That's where everybody's favorite child rapist and murderer, Leo Frank, is from.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, nice.
Was from.
Yep.
Hero, you mean Jewish hero?
Yeah.
Oh God, he's such a fantastic inspiration, boy.
And welcome to the show, Murray. It was a perfect time to pop
Hooray.
in, too, actually, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, nice to be here. I hope my
Welcome,
audio is coming
brother.
in fairly clear.
We
Yep.
got another. We had Gilbert Godfrey on earlier. I mean, this is like turning into the.
Well, we're trying to get picked up by Hollywood, so.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, it's turning into the Chabad report.
Right? The Chabad report. Oh, Atlanta was a fun city. I don't know. Atlanta wasn't too bad, actually. I mean, there's lots of blacks, but you just avoid
Yeah.
the black neighborhood.
That reminds me, real quick, little story. I remember, the reason I remember David Cross is from there is he used to have this fucking bit where he talked about Light Up Atlanta, which was like this thing the city did where they'd like light up all the buildings at night and shit. And his whole point of the story was like, these rednecks are so dumb that it's like fireworks for dumb rednecks, right? For dumb hillbillies. And I'm like, David, I don't think that's who it was for.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Plus, like, I don't think that you could call the people that live in Atlanta rednecks by any means.
Yeah.
It doesn't. They're southern.
Yeah, no, not.
Shit, half
not
the
unless
people
you're
there are
trying
from
to-
California, or half the white folk there are from California or fucking New York or some bullshit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what the origins are of Mr. Cross's last name. 'Cause,
Oh, God.
well, yeah. I mean, he's Jewish. I'm looking it up on Wikipedia right now, but you kind of wouldn't expect. You wouldn't expect a Jew to be named Cross, although
Right.
I guess they name themselves after what they love.
I knew a
Okay.
Jew whose last name was actually Gentile. Yeah, I don't know if
It's
they
all
were like
humiliation.
yeah,
Overcompensating a bit, I think, there, buddy.
exactly.
When my mom's family fucking immigrated into the U.S., they immigrated with another family called the Lipschitz.
Yeah,
Shit.
I've seen that name. I've seen that name.
It's a classic.
Nice.
Was
So-
that guy named Gentile? Was he Italian? Was it supposed to be like Gentile?
I don't know. Could be. Could be.
Because that's like Giovanni Gentile.
Gentile.
It's probably like
You-
it was
you
probably
gentiles.
genital, and he's like, "Oh no, I can't have a last name called genital. People make fun of me."
Cross. It means Christ killer.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about like the non-Hispanic whites or whatever, because like there are different races within Latin American countries too.
Yeah. You got the really native types, and then you've got the kind of African descended, slave descended types, and then you've got the European types.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
So I was saying I've known like Cubans, for instance, that were like everything from I've seen them with blonde hair and blue eyes to everything from there to black. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
but they were all Cuban, so they would all be like Hispanic, I guess.
Right, yeah. Like 85%, European.
Yeah,
Right.
and then you see a white Hispanic like Justin Trudeau, and I mean, like, he's a pretty white looking guy.
He's supposed to be Hispanic.
Castro's son.
Oh yeah. Well, Castro himself was. There's lots of European blood in there. It seems. Look at that beard. That doesn't come from natives.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I've worked with a million Mexicans over my time in kitchens, and you see everyone from regular Mexicans to the whitish kind, and then you see like the ones that are just like straight up fucking Aztec.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the Fat Joe looking motherfuckers, except they're really dark.
Yeah.
Did Castro die like a couple years ago, or was it his brother Raul?
No, it was Fidel.
Well,
Well,
and
yeah,
since the
well,
latest
oh,
election, since the Latinos voted for Trump, they're all white supremacists now anyway.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So,
Goddamn right, as it should be.
so
Yeah.
Based.
they're officially
So-
welcome in the ethno state now, which
Now-
really opened up a lot of land for the ethno state, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, think of all the guys that are going to be kind of joining our side now that they know they can get the Castizo girlfriend, right? So that's
Right.
yeah.
now legitimate. And hey, dude, we got the Asians.
We got Asians, yeah, they're the latest.
Yeah. So now,
Yeah, only the smart ones though. Like Filipinos, I don't think are.
No, oh yeah, we'll
you're 8 miles
categorize
chongs.
and we'll categorize and pick and choose, of course. But I mean,
Oh yeah.
The first one I saw was Japanese. I was like, Japanese are officially white.
Well,
So-
they've been honorary Aryans since World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, possibly forever with the Ainu, but
Right,
not
so
the Ainu. The Ainu was in China.
white supremacy is becoming the most diverse movement in the history of man. We got friggin' Dindus, we got Bengali motorcycle riding
The
chicks.
new
we
white
got,
supremacy is a multiracial, multi-ethnic.
We're very
coalition.
inclusive. We're very inclusive.
I know, right?
Pro-
Seems like we're the most
Pro-gay.
inclusive group in today.
Yeah,
Right.
It's, we call it Rubio supremacy.
just no homosexuals allowed.
Oh god.
Except if you're Lady MAGA.
No,
No, she's not allowed.
no.
Oh, she's
What about
not based.
Ricky Rebel?
It's not based.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds bad.
Oh, dude.
We let
Speaking of Lady
Brick in.
MAGA, though,
We let Brick in to have a token femboy.
I thought that
I hope
was
Did you
he
guys
hears
see
this.
that video of like Fuentes talking to Lady MAGA at some like conservative thing? I don't know if it was like I don't know, CPAC, whatever the fuck they have. Do you
Yeah,
guys
and
remember
Lady
that? I think
MAGA.
it was over the summer.
I think so. It sounds familiar.
And Lady MAGA is just straight up fucking mogging
Yeah,
Fuentes.
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Bro.
On him.
It's amazing. Like, he had nothing to say. He just kind of stood there and took the abuse. It was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, he's gotta remember that he's a kid, right? Like, he might have his kind of internet personality. He gets into stuff and does this and that. I'm not even going to talk about his what his actual motives or use are, but you got to remember he's still fucking he's a young punk.
Yeah.
Right. And it's easy to kind of work on building a talking to a camera personality and kind of do this shit online. But when you're in person, the stronger personality is going to fucking win every time.
Yeah, especially when it's like a 6'2" training.
Yeah, but I mean, I've known some guys who are, borderline midgets who are just a powerhouse. They walk into a room and everybody looks, just they walk like a 4 foot tall John Wayne, and they have that confidence. And you get talking, and they can, control a room type of thing. You can't, you can get around that when you're blocking people on the internet and doing your little, once again, controlled little
opposition
blog things. Well, you do your little controlled, yeah, exactly, but controlled blog things. But when you're out in the street, you're out in public, you have to have strength of personality, and you have to have a quick mind, because it shows when you don't.
Yeah, you really saw that deficiency in Fuentes. I believe it was last week, when he kind of just stood by looking like the cuck in the corner.
Yeah, well, Ali there.
Called that guy out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you also gotta practice that shit, because I've kind of talked about this before, but I used to, rant and rave at parties, and people would listen to me and go on, and I was doing it all the time. I was
What
doing
do we
it on a
call
regular
him?
basis.
Sammy Gavis Jr. That's what Sammy Gavis Jr.
There we go. But I wouldn't want to do that now. I wouldn't want to do public speaking now unless I had like 6 months of preparation. So if you're gonna do that shit, you got to be like capable and on the ball, and he's clearly not.
Yep. Yep.
So, TMZ just released the cause of death for Sean Connery.
Oh.
And it
Was
says
he-
pneumonia and heart failure.
Oh, really?
It wasn't drowning in pussy.
They
I
didn't.
was about to say that. Yeah.
Surprised they didn't actually.
He took a fatal dose of pussy.
Surprised they didn't actually call that COVID.
Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
was
holy
expecting
shit!
you
Joe
to
Biden
say.
got hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh,
you
yeah.
didn't see that?
Sprained his foot
That's some
playing
weird
with
shit
dogs.
too. I meant to bring that up, but I hadn't done it yet. But yeah, apparently he hurt his little footsie.
Are
Uh-oh.
we gonna see him in the
Do what you
McCain
fucking
boot?
deserve.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
probably we're gonna see him in a boot. Is the
reminds me of a
interesting
joke.
thing.
Reminds me of a joke. How did Hitler tie his little bootsies?
How?
In little Nazis.
Sorry.
Sorry. Didn't mean to derail that.
Waka waka waka.
So what's with the left of the past couple of years picking people who can't stand by themselves?
Well,
Remember Hillary Clinton like falling
Yep.
down, having me like held up by her bodyguards?
Yep. No, Biden. Apparently he was playing with his dog and hurt his little footsies.
what a pussy.
And but they wouldn't let any of the media in while he was being taken to the hospital for some reason, which is also pretty interesting. Don't know why they do that.
Very
Because
normal,
he's
very
probably
normal.
very close to fucking death anyways, and they want to know all the other stuff that they're checking on.
Yeah, I mean that would have been my guess. Is that's what it was. Let me see.
Did you guys see that his cabinet of like communications or whatever is all women?
Oh, I did find a video of it. Him
How many
hobbling
women
out of the
do?
hospital. on Gateway Pundit here, though. Let me see.
Oh.
I know Ronald Klein is Jewish, but how many of those women are of the tribe?
I was looking into it, and it honestly didn't look like any of them were. There's one that's a Pole that's questionable. There's a couple of Blakes.
Oh, so these are the women that Ronald Klein is going to sexually abuse then. All right, got it.
Or already has.
All right, let's see. Yeah, let's watch this video here real quick. Hold on. Yeah, let me get it pulled up here.
I'm gonna have to dip out here in a minute and have dinner, and then I'll be back when I'm done.
How dare you?
Oh.
All right, let's watch Sleepy Joe hobble out here. Well, that was very uninteresting. Oh, I guess I should have watched it first because there was nothing exciting there at all.
You got any walrus penis in the tabs here?
Oh, I think I closed that last night. I got what I needed out of it.
Just checking it out.
It was purely for research.
Well, actually, I wanted to grab the screenshot because I was fucking with somebody did the usual bullshit. Oh, you're all incels, da. And so we're making fun of him for that. And then he said, oh, here comes Mr. No Dick or something, Little Dick or some shit like that. So I was like, fact check, false. And I wanted a screenshot of that. Well, what's more impressive than a walrus's tusks?
Well, let me tell you,
Brody.
So Jacob, do you have like a giant mustache? Is that why you call yourself Walrus?
No.
Oh,
Because he's got a huge dong.
all right, I gotta go, guys.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a bit.
Duh.
All right, later, man.
I just put that out there, bud.
It's the
Because
dick.
it's because of my huge wang.
huge wang.
All right, we'll see you in a minute, Air Raid.
Take it easy, bud.
Fucking asshole, gotta eat and shit.
Bro, what kind of nerd eats dinner?
Right? Fucking nerd.
What kind of a piece of shit eats food? You have to eat to survive? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Fucking Canadians, dude. Not tell you. Alright, so
Johnny, what is this? What is this? Sorry, the monolith disappeared.
Oh
Yeah, and
yeah.
it was replaced with a little pyramid. Little metal pyramid.
Yeah, that was weird shit. Like, what the fuck is up with that?
Sorry, what?
There's something going on with it because, like, why was that even in the news? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I saw somebody on YouTube and went out there and found the monolith and checked it out, whatever. It's definitely man-made. You can see rivets and all kinds of shit on it. You know?
Yeah.
So, it was...
The way they cut it into the ground was weird, though.
Yeah. And then it disappeared, but they left a little top, I think, or some pyramid there. You know?
Yeah.
Well, what's to say that aliens don't use rivets?
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna get a little conspiracy theorist here, shit. But Bob, I don't know if you know about the Bob Lazar thing, but like as he was talking about like the technology that we've captured supposedly, aliens are big fans of like a very high tech form of like at least another 100 years, like at least a couple 100 years ahead of us in terms of like what's it fucking called 3D printing.
3D
Yeah,
print
and
to
the
see.
way they 3D print things is they're able to 3D print things so that nothing inside the ship is its own individual piece. Everything was built from the ground up from the same material and like all homogeneous. And well, not even a couple hundred years. We're 100 years away from really truly understanding exactly what it was that they did, but probably God knows how long far away from actually being able to do it ourselves. But yeah. So like 3D, if that monolith was like one solid piece of metal, then that would probably be like even more convincing. But I don't know.
See,
What really makes me think that. What really makes me think it could be aliens, I'm not saying it is, but is the fact that like when it shows like the before and after, when it shows like before there was anything even there were like a bunch of fucking boulders there too. So whoever put it there managed to remove all these giant fucking boulders.
No, they didn't remove the
and
boulders.
smooth out the ground, and then.
Yeah, I saw what you're talking about. There wasn't boulders right where it is. It was.
Well, it was flat. It was flat. It was flat though.
Yeah.
But they were able to do that, and then they were able to cut it into the ground. So they were able to dig like a perfect hole, put it in there, or it might be rock. I think it's actually rock where it's in.
No, they were saying what it was.
Okay.
I saw it like up close on video on
weird.
the live stream and shit. It was definitely like put there by
wish they
somebody. What I think is strange is that
I wish they.
the news picked it up, and this isn't exactly. There hasn't been any exactly slow news days for them to be like, oh, and there's this weird thing. So why was this all in the fucking news? You know what I mean? It seemed like it was some kind of ritualistic thing to me. And then
I wish they left it there. I would have liked to go see it. It'd be pretty cool.
When they left the capstone on it, the capstone there. Very strange.
Yeah, it's super fucking weird. I mean, even if it's something man-made, like you're right, it becoming a story and a whole thing is, I mean, why?
Yeah, like I said,
everything else is some sort of weird, like esoteric ritual.
Yeah.
Well, they said one of the corners of the monolith pointed directly towards the crack in that little area there in the
rock there, yeah,
or the stone wall, yeah.
But it's very strange how they.
Maybe it's like some art guy putting a little statue there to tell them where he hit a body or something.
See, but if it was just something like, I think it's some kind of ritual thing because like, why was this like in the news and all that shit? That's what really gets me. You know what I mean? Because there's no reason for it to be in the news. BLM pulled it down already. There you go, Davey. All right, mystery solved. BLM pulled it down because it's racist. It didn't specifically.
You didn't use blued steel. You used polished in the white, unfinished steel. So you're racist because it's not black.
Well, it didn't specifically denounce whiteness, so it's racist.
Yeah.
It's also
building something like that, so it's racist.
Right.
Exactly.
You have to specifically denounce whiteness and profess the superiority of blackness, or it's racism. That's why we now have Japanese and Latinos in the ethno state. So these are the new rules for the ethno state, that Jews are not white, but Latinos and Asians are. So make sure you update your whatever you need to update that way.
Well, technically, Chinese and Japanese, I mean, their skin is white, right?
Yeah, they actually have less melanin, or the Asians actually have less melanin than white people. So,
hey, I'm gonna hop off for about just a little bit. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, you guys are dropping like flies tonight, huh?
I'm here.
Uh-oh.
I'm replacing
Oh God.
Johnny.
Wham! An alarm.
That not explains Johnny got scared and had to leave. That's
Are you? Come on. I'm not scared.
It's not Aaron. Come on.
You're like, oh shit, I'm gonna get yelled at again about porn.
mean, the chastity belt one was so funny. His new profile pic, I was like, because his name is Robert Down Syndrome Jr. And I was like, and then he changed the profile pic. I'm like, shouldn't it be Iron Chad? And then Walrus is like, he just needs a chastity belt, like, to stop him from, being on the porn all the time. Anyways.
From cooping.
Yes.
Yeah. So people know what we're talking about. He had posted a picture, like, you put his face in the Iron Man outfit. And she was like,
yes, yes, his face.
Yeah, his face. And she said, shouldn't he be called Iron Chad? And I said, no, it's his chastity belt because he needs to cover that much of his body to keep him from touching himself,
That is like a thing with Downies, I think, where they like have this powder that they rub on their hands so they like stops them from beating it all the time.
Oh jeez. No.
Yeah. What is it like?
You guys know what I'm talking about? That's
capsaicin powder or something?
Well, Savannah wants us to talk about Hispanic white supremacists more. So let me see if I can pull something up on that. Actually,
it's got like a gritty sandpaper-like quality.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ouch.
It's pretty mean, but I mean, if you're out there beating it all day,
Well, apparently I didn't even know
feel
this.
pain like we do?
And I hopped on, and then the convo goes directly to penis talk. Like, it wasn't my purpose.
You bring it out of us.
What have you done?
Likely story.
This is degenerate report now. Thanks a lot.
I don't apologize at all.
But yeah, this whole Latino white supremacist thing goes back to I guess it started because all the articles I'm seeing are from like July-ish, June, July. So I guess that's when the Cubans and different Latino groups were starting to back Trump. They're like, wasn't that about when Biden played Despacito on his phone?
Bro, I was just about to bring that up.
So,
yes.
Right. So I think you kind of pissed him off.
Over, like, to the...
Yeah, that tipped the scales there for sure.
But what people don't understand is, like, most Latinos, and Princess could talk to that, they're conservative in general. Like, that's the culture. I mean, it's not a liberal culture at all.
Well, yeah, most of them are devout Catholics.
Yeah, I mean, church going and respecting your mom, respecting your family, like having an extended family, taking care of each other. It's very conservative values. So.
Yep, strong Catholic.
Well, also, I think
family oriented.
I think the big factor this cycle was that, frankly, they're just really racist and they don't like black people.
That too.
Democrats really turned into the party of worshiping blacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do not like homosexuals too much either.
Yeah.
No. Well, neither do black people for that matter. I mean,
yeah. Well, no, who does really?
Princess
Except
is
for like
holding a
fucking
torch.
liberals and women.
I don't think gay people like themselves, so
No, it's why they're always trying to turn a straight guy. That's like their biggest fantasy, It's like a straight dude. It's like even gays hate each other.
Did Jamie just say that?
Well, apparently Savannah was making fun of Tariq, which
Tariq's a legend.
Tariq makes some great points, like really the blacks don't kill themselves; it's white people in Negro masks. So
yes.
He unironically said that. Oh, the hillbillies come in their pickup trucks.
I wonder. Sorry. Go ahead.
With their black guy masks.
I wonder how much of like Tariq's posting is trolling.
He's kind of funny.
He's been doing it for years, and he's a funny dude. But I don't know. It's hard to.
He's so.
It's hard to say if he believes it or not.
Well, he's so extreme. Sometimes he'll be like, he's what do you call a black nationalist? Like I think he.
Yeah.
He's the opposite of white supremacist, but black.
He's a wash your ass nationalist.
Wash
Yeah.
your ass. Nationals.
But sometimes, he has like the most hilarious and accurate tweet, and the other times it's just despicable. It's just he'll call a Latino white supremacist. Like I remember that tweet. You guys remember? It was like so controversial.
I don't.
Yeah, so it was just like so I think it was remember the LA shooting, and the cop happened to be Latino. You remember that? Like the shooting that it was a standoff, and the black dude got shot by a Latino. So he called the Latino a Latino supremacist or something. You don't remember that one? I'm gonna try to dig it out, but I just remember
mean,
that.
That's basically what they did with George Zimmerman, except they just called him white.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, similar. So it was just like, so everybody was like, what? Like Latino supremacist because he killed a black dude? I mean, it was
Well,
always
it's fun. It's funny that like you're like, I don't know. It's so clearly like, dude, what are you saying? Like that's retarded. But now the fucking mainstream media is saying that exact same thing about Mexicans and Latinos, Cubans, whatever, for
Yeah.
supporting.
Yeah, because they're
Trump.
anti-communism. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're cool. Go ahead. I was done.
Yeah, so as soon as you support Trump, you're a supremacist of some sort and you're racist.
Well.
Automatically. It's like the racism card is used like toilet paper, I guess.
Well, yeah.
It's used all day
Probably
long.
more often than toilet paper, to be honest, and less conservatively.
Well, I'm pretty sure Antifa just uses their sleeve anyway, so.
Bro, I have a friend who was telling me about how like, what is it? Muslims that like wipe their ass with only their left hand.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and then water.
Okay.
It's not. It's always.
Yeah, he
there's
was
also
telling me
water.
how great that is. He's like unironically trying to defend that, and
Who?
like, oh, dude, it's so smart. They only use that for one thing. It's like,
No,
bro,
they use
there's
it for
no
anything
way.
considered unclean. The problem with that is they consider eating unclean, so they do it with the same hand.
Right. Dude, tell me that you're eating a fucking falafel sandwich with one hand only. No, fuck out of here.
I think the concept of the left hand is because in the Muslim culture, like anything left is evil. Like if you use your left hand, it's like a bad thing. So I don't know why they associated the right hand writing. I think it's there in other cultures too. I'm not sure.
It is. It goes way back. I could go into it, but I won't.
Yeah,
I had
it's
a friend who was left-handed, and he went to like a Catholic school or some kind of weird school, and they made him write with his right hand. So now he writes like a retard.
Yeah, it actually
Lefties are the
comes
devil's minions.
from Kabbalah, believe it or not. But
right, the
really?
Judaism, right?
well, Kabbalah is older than Judaism, but
Yeah.
that's how it's mostly comes to us these days.
Right. Yeah.
Bro, I'm left-handed.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, why would you associate like the hand you use to anything other than the hand you use to read and write? It's just it's beyond me. The stuff that are vilified, right?
Well, because it has to do with which side of your brain is dominant. So, if you're right-handed, you're actually more left brain dominant. If you're left-handed, you're actually more right brain dominant. And if I'm kind of ambidextrous, so these are pretty well balanced. But
Don't do left hand. Asians don't do left hand. That's what Princess is saying.
but in the
Yeah,
Kabbalah,
that's the thing. See, it's that left hand concept has been, introduced to every culture somehow. It's
Yeah.
always like to somehow, make something stupid, and divide people. Always something to like oh yeah, you use your left hand, you're evil. It's like, uh, I really feel like it's been introduced on purpose by someone. Like, I
By
don't know.
who?
Who knows? The
Well, yeah.
Jews?
There you go. Yes.
Yes, right? Yeah.
It's a safe bet. I mean,
Well, like I said,
99%
it
of the
goes
time
back
it's
to
true.
Kabbalah, and then in the Tree
Then
of
it's
Life.
definitely, yeah.
In the Tree of Life, you have the left-hand path. It's also called the Pillar of Severity. You have the right-hand path. That's called the Pillar of Mercy. Then you have the middle pillar. So the left-hand path, and in occultism, the left hand is like service to self. The right hand is service to others, and then the middle path is the balance between them.
Oh.
So, yep. That's where that comes from, and it's been in pretty much every culture on the planet. So,
And you know, speaking of Kabbalah, I remember Leonard Nimoy. You remember Leonard Nimoy from Star Trek, the
yes.
old Star Trek?
Yep.
So you remember like when he started talking about Kabbalah and like drawing, and his art became all about that ancient Jewish women worshiping culture. You remember that?
Huh?
I feel like he's the one who was like making Kabbalah more mainstream, and then you could see all of the celebrities wearing that red bracelet. Remember?
Yeah.
The red bracelet is from Kabbalah tradition, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But funny fact, here in Bulgaria, actually, they have in March they have that same tradition where they have like a red thread
Yeah.
that you
yeah.
put around your hand, and you're supposed to wear it until either you see a stork or the end of March if you don't see a stork, because the stork comes in and brings the spring and all that stuff. So, and I think it's that the Kabbalah, I guess it's tradition from here actually. So,
Okay. Interesting. But what's the significance of it? Like, why does it?
it's supposed to keep away evil spirits, I believe, or something like that.
Interesting. Did you guys already talk about the topics? Like we were the
I think for the most part,
General Flynn and the German server raid.
Oh god.
oh, we hadn't even
What?
brought that up because I don't know if I want to, because like I don't know.
Yeah, the information is very suspicious, and I always feel like they introduce these things to the conservative movement to discredit some of the stuff. So I'm always hesitant into like posting anything about that until it's a reliable source.
Yeah, because they'll put out all kinds of shit. For one, it wastes our time, and for another, it can be used as, oh look, they believe any bullshit that you put out there, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why shit like that I try not to. Plus the story, there's a lot of weird shit to it that doesn't make any sense. You know.
Is
Like-
Congo Red gonna join?
I don't think he's gonna join tonight because he had to go to Iowa.
Idaho?
Or something. He had to drive somewhere. So
Yeah, that was like an interesting conversation about Aleister Crowley.
yeah,
And when you look at his picture, he really looks like George Senior Bush's wife.
Barbara?
Yeah.
Barbara Bush. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a
Have you
whole big
seen-
thing about Barbara Bush being.
A
It's not
dude?
just pictures too. There was like some. There was more to it than that. But
Yeah, I'm
It's-
not too familiar with this.
Yeah, Aleister Crowley wrote a very evil book. He's basically a Satanist. And,
yeah, I mean it's a little more complicated than that. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, he would be considered a Satanist.
I think he's like the father of the Church of Satan. I would say probably. I think he didn't he found
So him
like
and-
help
LaVey, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Anton Levy.
Anton Levy. Yeah, exactly, exactly. But before that, I think Crowley was the one that everybody, all the Satanists would inspire.
Yeah.
To,
So
or no?
so Anton LaVey was the founder of the Church of Satan in San Francisco and stuff, and he was actually there's actually definitely connections with him and the Thelema, the OTO and stuff that he so, but the big difference, Anton LaVey, the Church of Satan, they're supposed to be what you call atheistic Satanists. So basically, they're atheists for the most part.
Okay, but then
And their whole spiel, the Church of Satan, their whole spiel is that man is an animal, and so they're big promoters of atheism and crap like this.
It's a very Jewish thing too. It's all about like pleasure and self-service and like living in the moment, for, living for your wants and desires.
That was the Church of Satan because Anton LaVey was definitely connected to the OTO, who was doing they do all kind of crazy psyops. I've busted them on a few times. They hate me. Because
I know the OTO.
I know things about them that I'm not supposed to know, that are supposed to be secrets, but without getting into all that.
Spooky, dude.
Yeah.
Well, you're in the friend zone now.
Yeah. But without getting into all that, they I think that like Anton LaVey was spreading that on purpose, But well, Aleister Crowley, he considered himself not Satanist. They call it Thelema. That was the religion he founded. But he considered himself the Beast 666. And all kinds of weirdness associated with that, of course.
Sounds like an edgy 16-year-old.
he was kind of the edgy 16-year-old of stuff.
Shut up, Mom. You can't ground me. I'm 666.
Davey, Anton was not a student of Crowley. Like, he never would have met Crowley. But he was a member of the OTO. So he was in the whole Crowley's group. But Anton LaVey would have probably been about... when was Anton LaVey born? Because Crowley died in, 1940 something. Let me see. When was Anton LaVey born?
The book, as far as I understand, it's the book that they still use, right? That Crowley wrote?
Yeah, Anton LaVey was born in 1930. No. The, LaVey wrote the Satanic Bible and all that. Now, the Thelemites have the Book of the Law, which is a whole other thing. And to get into their theology and shit is pretty far out. I don't really see much point in going into it because it doesn't really matter that much. But there's a lot of Egyptian symbology and shit. And some shit from the Book of Revelations and stuff. It's very weird, but the gist of it, their law is do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. And then which that actually goes back to way before that, like the Hellfire clubs used to have "do what thou wilt" on the walls of their temples and shit. So that was way before Crowley, but he's credited with that these days. But I really think like LaVey was a psyop. Scientology, because there was some crazy shit with L. Ron Hubbard who was all up in this shit.
I'm pretty sure he was like a Illuminati, the Hubbard guy.
He actually worked with Jack Parsons. They did this thing called the Babylon working, which they you can actually read the notes from that online. Pretty
Is that
far
the guy
out
with the
shit,
band?
huh?
Is that the guy with the band?
Jack Parsons?
Yeah.
No, Jack
Oh, no, that
Parsons was
Alan
the
Parsons.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Jack Parsons was the guy who started the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL. And he worked with Werner von Braun to build rockets and shit. And one of the reasons we made it to the moon, if we made it to the moon, not going to go into that whole shit right now.
I actually applied
like a whole show right there.
Right.
I applied for a job at the Jet Propulsion Library when I was living in Vancouver and looking for a job in the U.S.
Yeah.
And yeah, and obviously I didn't get anything there. But that would have been interesting to work there,
That would have been.
especially
And
it's L.A.
Yeah.
You know.
Because that was like the foundings of NASA and shit, too, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they used to call it Jack Parsons Laboratory. Was it Netflix, I think? HBO. One of them did a show called Dark Angel that's about Jack Parsons. It's fucking really interesting, actually.
Dark Angel, was that shot in Vancouver?
Probably California.
Oh, okay,
But-
okay. Good.
It's about Jack Parsons, though.
Oh.
And his whole story, and it includes the whole weird crawly OTO shit and the Jet Propulsion Laboratory stuff and all kinds of weird shit. I only saw the first season. I think they did make a second season. No, actually, let me see. Might as well look this up. I do have a computer sitting in front of me, so. American TV series. Dark Angel is an American science fiction drama television series that premiered. Oh, it was on Fox. Wait. No, this isn't the one I'm thinking of. Maybe it's not Dark Angel. Hold on. Jack Parsons show. I thought it was called Dark Angel, but Strange Angel. That's what it's called. Strange Angel. American historical drama streaming television series that premiered on CBS All Access. I don't remember where I watched it, but it wasn't CBS All Access.
What the fuck is CBS All Access?
Sounds like a streaming service.
Because it came out in 2018. Strange Angel, the otherworldly life of rocket scientist John Whiteside Parsons. Yeah, there was 2 seasons. I only saw the first one, so I actually should watch the second one.
This is from which year?
2018 was the first season. 2019 the second season.
Oh, it's recent. It's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something old.
Yeah, it's very recent.
Oh, speaking of movies, I don't know if you guys saw. Someone posted the new Tom Hanks movie about him being with a young girl alone and not allowing other people around her. Is so.
Oh
cringe.
yeah,
So cringe.
I saw that. I haven't had a chance. All I saw was Appalachia's tweet about it, so I haven't looked at it much. But I'm sure that's some crazy shit. But here, I'll read the premise that they got here. The Strange Angel follows Jack Parsons, a brilliant and ambitious blue-collar worker of 1930s Los Angeles who started as a janitor at a chemical factory but had fantastical dreams that led him to birth the unknown discipline of American rocketry. Along the way, he fell into a mysterious world that included sex magic rituals at night, and he became a disciple of occultist Aleister Crowley. Parsons used Crowley's teachings of self-actualization to support his unimaginable and unprecedented endeavor to the stars. Which, Parsons was a very strange guy, to say the least. And, yeah, he was married to some woman. I think they didn't stay married too long. I forget the whole story. But, oh yeah, So Frog Mom was mentioning there's a huge connection between the Church of Satan and the CIA. Oh yeah, because I was getting to that actually. The CIA actually infiltrated the OTO, I think in the 50s. Let me see. I'll pull it up here again. Here it is. Flying saucer mythology took hold in a big way in the 1950s, wrapped in gaudy pulp covers and flashed on movie screens. Jack Parsons, the Caltech rocket pioneer and high priest of the OTO's Agape Lodge in Pasadena, one of the first Americans to report a UFO sighting, was addicted to science fiction. And they were doing what's known as Enochian magic. Him and
Is that spelled with a G?
Enochian. Oh, magic.
Yeah. How do you spell Enochian?
Enochian, like Enoch.
Like Enoch. Okay, got it.
Even though it actually has absolutely nothing to do with Enoch, it stems from John Dee, who was one of the founders of mathematics, but also did all this crazy occult shit. His fucking stuff is really interesting to read too. That's some far out shit. But yeah, he was doing Enochian magic. They were trying to create a hole in the fabric of space and time, essentially, to allow these other entities that they'd been in contact with into this world. And around the time they started doing so, supposedly they were successful. They were trying to bring forth an entity into human form, and supposedly the next day this woman showed up, and L. Ron Hubbard ended up running off with Jack Parsons' wife, and all kinds of weird shit.
So were these guys at all related to the CERN project?
That's a good question. I haven't found any ties, but I wouldn't be surprised at all. This is like in the 40s that all this was happening, so it would have been before that. And Crawley himself had like during World War II especially, he was working with MI6 and stuff, so there was already the even though he was in Italy, so because they had the Abbey of Thelema, and for a while he was supposedly working as a double agent for MI6 in Italy, watching Mussolini, till Mussolini was like, okay, we're getting rid of any kind of Masonic bullshit, and kicked him the fuck out. He was reportedly tossed in. Oh wait, no, that was Germer. Hold on, let me get back here. Throughout the 20s and 30s, Crawley gathered intelligence on European communists, the Nazi movement, and Germany's occult lodges. Crawley died in 1944. He willed the copyright for his books and unpublished manuscripts to the OTO and leadership of the order to Karl Germer, who he was from Germany, served in World War I, and was reportedly tossed in prison by the Nazis for his involvement in Freemasonry. Crawley believed Germer to be a Nazi spy, but admitted him to the OTO anyway. Settled after the war in Dublin, California. Died in 1962.
Wait, I have a dumb question. What's OTO stand for?
Ordo Templi Orientis.
Oh, okay. That wasn't a dumb question.
Yeah.
It's Latin?
Yes. Which Crawley took over as the head of the OTO. I think in the 20s or so. And by the time he was coming out with Thelema, so he reworked it because it was an old German occult order. And then he reworked it into basically the Thelemic order. So But getting back to the CIA basically taking over the OTO.
But why would it take over the OTO? Like the CIA is bad. What I mean is, wouldn't the CIA be involved in its creation in the first place, or
No.
what's the point of taking it over?
Although, well, I'm sure that they were related because the CIA was founded by Skull and Bones, essentially, and Skull and Bones was from German occult orders too. I actually just came across something about this the other day. I think yesterday or earlier today. And I probably have the tab open somewhere, but I got so many tabs open I don't know which one it is. But basically, the when they founded Yale University, they started Skull and Bones. It was supposed to be an American branch of the Bavarian Illuminati, which the OTO in Germany was basically the evolution of the Bavarian Illuminati as well. So why would they want to take it over? Probably because Crawley had taken it over and turned it into something else. And it would be incredibly useful for as a cover, for one thing, for stuff that they were doing. And what the fuck? Okay. As a cover for what they were doing, for one thing, and
Are you searching at the same time, Walrus?
no, I was looking at the chat, actually. Because I had missed a lot because I was looking at other stuff. But, so they would want to take it over as a cover for their operations a lot, I would say, for the most part. Would be the biggest reason. Plus, it was probably being a pain in their ass. Because it was like spreading occultism. Especially because I think it was in the 60s they actually took it over. And so the OTO was really blowing up. They wanted to do, obviously there was all kinds of weird CIA ops in the 60s. And yeah, because Germer died in 1962, supposedly left it to Marcelo Mata, who was an OTO official in Brazil. But basically the CIA orchestrated a coup and installed this McMurtry, who was kind of their guy, as the head of the order. And they even like brought it to court and shit. And but yeah, that's basically how the CIA took over the OTO.
I heard that you know the book Animal Farm, which was written by
Orwell.
Orwell, yeah. Some people, I saw this in the documentary saying that he might have been given the information to write on there by the CIA.
Orwell?
Yeah, Orwell.
Possibly.
Because,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So getting back to the CIA connections with what we're talking about here. Church of Satan. Yeah, so like they took over the OTO in what, 62, 63?
Mm-hmm.
The CIA took it over. At that time, Anton LaVey would have been in the, and Dublin, California is right in the Bay Area, right?
Yeah, East Bay.
East Bay, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, 3 years later, then Anton LaVey, who would have been in those same lodges in the OTO at that time, comes out with the Church of Satan. So, obvious CIA ties there, but it's via the OTO. And also the Church of the Final Judgment, which is or Church of the Final Process, which is another fucking crazy fucking group that was doing all kinds of shit in San Francisco in the 60s.
Yeah, so the guy who Anton LaVey, right? He was
Oh,
a
wait,
military
Process
man.
Church of the Final Judgment. That's what it's called.
Oh boy, that doesn't sound good.
Oh, they were some very, very strange people. Oh, okay. So that actually had to do with the Church of Scientology in the 60s. Which is another CIA op because, like I said, L. Ron Hubbard did the shit with the Babylon working with Jack Parsons. This is all some crazy wingnut shit that you would not expect fucking. But then they're all tied in with all of our fucking government officials, NASA, fucking CIA, all kind of crazy shit, right?
Yeah, it's super interesting the connection between all of these guys and being a military guy, right? You know that guy. So the Anton LaVey is the guy with the weird eyebrows, right? Or there's two guys.
I haven't got to him yet.
Yeah, the weird eyebrow guy was a military man, and he would openly say he worships Satan.
Yeah, I was getting to that guy. He's a fucking crazy one too.
Exactly.
He came out of the Church of Satan.
Right. So.
Right.
Anton LaVey is later, like.
Right.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No. Anton LaVey started the Church of Satan. Then the guy with the eyebrows that you're talking about, Colonel Temple of Set is what he founded. Hold on.
Yes, Temple of Seth. Now I remember.
No, Michael Aquino. I didn't even have to look it up.
Yeah, Aquino.
Michael
exactly.
Aquino. So
so
he started as the
SF.
Church of Satan, but then he disagreed with some of their shit or something. So then he founded the Temple of Set in the early 70s, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And he is a colonel, or was. I think he's dead now. I think he died recently. Mm-hmm. But don't quote me on that. But
yeah, there was Twitter made a big deal out of his death. I remember it was this year.
Yeah, I knew it was like pretty recent because he was alive till not very long ago. Mm-hmm. So Michael Aquino, he left the Church of Satan and founded the Temple of Set. I think it was 1972, and some more of this crazy shit. He was a colonel in the army. And he was wrote the handbook on psychological operations.
Right.
And
PsyOps.
Yeah. And in his role as the head of the Temple of Set, or actually maybe before that while he was still in the Church of Satan, something like that, he wrote the handbook for chaplains in the army too. Go figure, right? So yeah. And I personally know that a lot of these groups, the OTO being one of them, they find members from they seek out new members from the army quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So, do you know personally anybody who's member of any of the secret societies?
Yes.
I just remember my dentist friend. She said that one of the guys she studied
mostly
with,
ex-members, but yes.
Okay, they quit.
Yeah.
So she said that as soon as he became a member of the lodge here in the Mason Lodge in Montreal, all of a sudden everything went his way. Like he was, his dentistry practice got more customers.
Masons are different. As far as the OTO goes, I know ex-members.
So what made them leave? What?
Huh?
What made them leave?
I can't go into that right now. They already hate me enough.
Well, this is getting juicier by the minute, and you keep holding back. So.
I mean, I've had them try to kill me over shit before, so.
Oh dear. No, we don't. We kind of want you to live.
So yeah, gotta be a little careful about how much I put out there. But let's just say I know way more than they'd like me to.
That was an evil laugh, though. Jacob.
For a while, I was working with a group that was like a lot of the ex-members that were trying to bring them down because they didn't like them anymore because they're not good people. But and they could tell me stuff that they couldn't tell everybody else, but then I could tell everybody else. It was a unique relationship, so I was privy to a lot of the secrets that people aren't supposed to know. So,
Bro, that is fucking wild.
Yep.
Yeah, like we're like all like at the edge of our seats. Because I always post this stuff on my, because I really believe it's all true, and but I don't know anybody personally. I just know that none of it is a coincidence, the way they manipulate us.
Yeah.
So it's even more interesting when you actually come across someone who's witnessed it. But I was always like, I've been convinced since 2001, since 9/11 happened. I was like, this world is not in our hands. It's not in our control. And it just like right away when that thing happened, it's when you immediately wake up. I don't understand how nobody else woke up from that.
I would say you probably do know members, you just don't know that their members would be.
Right. True. Especially,
they didn't bother telling you. But.
No, specifically, I think the people that are, my higher up bosses in Cisco, I feel like, so at Cisco, for example,
I would put money down that, some of the higher ups then there would be members of some of these groups for sure.
Yeah, because they always get promoted. I remember
especially if you're in Silicon Valley. Because that's the Bay Area. The Bay Area, there's lots of things headquartered there.
Yeah. The Satanists headquarters.
Well, the Church of Satan, the Church of the Final, the Process Church of the Final Judgment, which they were connected to Charles Manson and shit too. So that's right. The OTO has a huge lodge there. That's kind of one of the most important. Well, the Bay Area and LA are kind of compete over who's more important. And then the actual headquarters, they say, is in Austin these days.
It's not Kazakhstan?
No, it's in Austin.
Austin? The OTO.
Okay. The OTO Grand Lodge is in Austin.
Oh, look at this. Princess is saying, I knew someone who was a butler at the Bohemian Grove. Holy...
But that was wild.
That's insane. It's like she's like a regular Alex Jones.
Yeah, I knew people that lived in that town that's near it. What is it? I forget the name of it. It's in Sonoma County.
Did you say any gay stuff?
Yes.
Super faggy, yeah. Well, there's a guy who says that, you know how there's the OTO, there's the Freemason Illuminati, and then there's also a division of mostly these sorority for boys. What are they called? The opposite sorority. Fraternities, yeah. So there's a black one, Alpha something, and I remember this guy who was part of the Ducati Club. All day long on Facebook, he would like post stuff, right? And I was like, this guy has a job. He's a black guy, and supposedly to get into that exclusive society for all black Illuminatis, supposedly they have to do a homosexual act. So I think, yeah, that's what I heard.
Alpha, beta, she.
Yeah, and they have a specific one for the black elite, and most of the ones that are politicians, they all have been through that sorority. So
yeah, well, that's all the whole fraternity thing, like, that started at the Ivy League schools like Harvard and Yale. And it was like, Skull and Bones was one of the oldest fraternities before they started using the Greek alphabets and shit. But that's all tied in with Masonic stuff, too. So.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Princess is like he served a bush in many ways. Posts on Facebook all day. Yeah. I was like, how is this guy getting paid for anything? He posts, like, he's on Facebook all day long posting, like, post after post. Yeah, and then he's like, he's black.
Well, I mean, a lot of these weirdos, like, they get paid to do this shit, or they make a living off of it somehow, you know what I mean? Because that's, like, their job, so. I mean, we know the alphabets are deep into them, for sure. Like I said, Oh, and San Francisco also has the headquarters of the ancient and mystical order of Rosicrucis, the Rosicrucians.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Or, well, not the Rosicrucians, but the biggest Rosicrucian order, anyway. I'll put it that way. Based out of San Francisco. Which is some weird shit, too. But they're not nearly as bad as, like, the OTO, as far as, the Satanism and shit. Satanic type imagery and shit. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, Michael Aquino was talking about Michael Aquino. Michael Aquino was a colonel in the.
Hanketeers here. Sorry. Go ahead.
Let me see. We'll go ahead.
Haircut ever, Michael Aquino.
Yeah. Well, he was apparently doing that on purpose. There was some really crazy shit with him, too. That former intelligence officer in the police force of the Philippines. That's not the guy.
And that was always a question of mine. He is... Oh, okay. He is white, though, right? Michael Aquino? Because Aquino is a Filipino name. But he is for sure white.
Yeah, he is definitely white.
White.
I think he used the I don't think Aquino was his actual name, or I don't know, maybe it was. I don't know. But well, that's fucking weird. They don't have a actual thing for about Michael Aquino. That's fucking weird. But yeah, he is a real fucking weirdo. He is an officer specializing in psychological warfare. He joined the Church of Satan in '69.
I sent the link to Scott, who was the Ducati Club guy, and his alpha posting. And when you look at the hashtag of the Alpha Phi Alpha or whatever, you find like all kinds of crazy shit too on these fraternity. And there's a female version of it as well. And they're always giving like the Baphomet sign and the pyramid sign and basically the infinity, and then the one eye post.
Yeah. And basically what Aquino did, as opposed to so LaVey came out of the OTO and went basically like full on atheist mode of it to start the Church of Satan. And then Aquino kind of brought in back more of the Crawley type stuff and the Crawley stuff and the Golden Dawn stuff is to make it less atheistic and more, but more in line with the more occult shit as opposed to the atheistic with the Temple of Set. But he was wrote the book on psychological warfare. There was some crazy shit in the 80s and the what's it called? Embarcadero in San Francisco.
Yep.
Yep. Where I think it was Aquino's wife. No, somebody was running the daycare there. And all these kids were like coming up with all these crazy stories about being raped and stuff and could describe, and they were talking about being taken to Aquino's house, and they could describe Aquino perfectly and Aquino's house perfectly. And he got arrested, but somehow beat the charge, or the charges got dropped, if I remember correctly. And that was some weird shit.
Oh, what a surprise! You'd think those charges would stick, you know what I mean? People like that, they always get caught. They always see justice.
Right? There must not have. These kids must have been lying because.
Yeah, just like the Satanic Panic kids, that shit in the 80s, you know.
Well,
yeah,
was
the
like,
kids,
yeah,
the
was,
English kids was like so disturbing to watch.
because that was in the
guys-
early 80s, and that actually helped kick off the Satanic Panic. And during the Satanic Panic, Aquino used to go on like Geraldo all the time and shit. And
Oh. Yeah, I was literally about to ask you if this is if that, like, that leads into that, if those were, you know, connected, because it sounds very similar.
yeah,
I mean, especially since all these motherfuckers are like experts in psychological operations, warfare, whatever.
Geraldo Rivera, by the way, is not just a normal Hispanic. He is of the tribe.
No.
crypto, right? Yep.
He's one of those rare justizos.
Oh,
Yep.
really?
He calls himself because like
Not rare
New Yorkers
enough, but yeah.
who are Puerto Ricans, they call themselves New Yorkers. So he calls himself a Jew-Yorican.
Jew-Rican.
A Jew, yeah, something like that.
Disgusting.
Wow. That is so wrong. Princess is probably like, ew.
He was Geraldo was the one who did that big expose on what was the name of the asylum? That was him, right?
Huh?
He did Al Capone's vault. That was his biggest story. It was totally empty.
I must be thinking of someone else. Someone who did like a thing about mental asylums, and it was like instrumental in getting them shut down across the country. I thought that was him.
But yeah, there's basically, I think my point on this, how we got off on this, was that there's CIA connections to all these crazy occult groups and shit. And then the CIA itself was founded by an occult group, so it's... The lines are very, very thin, if they're there at all, between these occult secret societies and intelligence agencies, for sure, you know?
Yeah, you were right. Geraldo Rivera did get the Willowbrook State School shut down. It was a state-supported institution for children with intellectual disabilities located on Staten Island.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was.
You got that
thinking
shut
of like
down.
whispering something for the name, but Willowbrook. There we go. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, that was it. Go on, Jacob. Sorry.
Oh. Well, I think that was my point, though, was that how much CIA connections and shit there are, how the alphabet agencies and these secret societies are very intertwined. And so when you're talking about...
fucking spooky.
Yeah, and so when you're talking about the
Like,
deep state and them having these crazy fucking
satanic
child
ritual abuse.
sacrifices and
Yes,
satanic ritual
SRAs.
abuse and all this crazy shit. Like, it's supported by the evidence. You know, it doesn't just come from nowhere.
Right.
You know?
And it's not new either, which is crazy.
No, it's not. Matter of fact, here's a book from 1989 that I've been meaning to read. I got the PDF open on my browser, but it's Secret Societies and Psychological Warfare by Michael A. Hoffman. But I haven't had a chance to read it, so I can't recommend it yet. But it looks pretty interesting for sure.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I would think that would be red pill enough for people to wake up and start doing some research, but it's still not enough. Like, how can anyone see, like, how do I say this? How can someone not be intrigued by all this? Like, it's happening, and then automatically you're labeled a conspiracy theorist.
Well, I think that's a lot to do with it. Is, you know, this is the type of shit that crazy people talk about.
Right.
But
It's all
This is
real,
what
it's not
crazy
crazy.
people are interested in. So, you're not a crazy person. Why would you?
Well, no, I'm an intellectual. I have a super high IQ. I mean, it's like, I mean,
How wrinkly is your brain?
it's that's the thing. Like, I would think that there's, you know, when you are logically thinking, you want to research, and you don't want to just
Right, yeah, but I mean, that's my point, is like, it is, like, this stuff is naturally interesting, and we should be, I mean, everybody should care, you know what I mean? But the power of that, like, oh, this is what crazy people talk, that's so powerful, you know what I mean?
exactly. So that's why I don't understand how like, when you see this kind of information or someone talks to you about it, it gets dismissed. I would think that the normal person would think, okay, this is evidence. What if there's something wrong on this? Like, what if there's something wrong in this world?
People don't want there to be something wrong. They want the. By the way, I'm back, guys.
Siren.
And low.
Yeah. If you
Well,
didn't
I mean,
notice the Canadian accent.
I don't know if you guys saw that Zuckerberg picture that I just threw in the group chat,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I
We
did.
polluted our timeline, man.
that is so obviously like something fucking weird, right? But I see people. I looked into some threads to see like what were people saying. You know, what was the Twitter normie thinking, and everybody's like, oh, it's just like a men's club, nothing weird. Like, oh, men's clubs,
No.
they do well, blah blah blah, and people are so quick to dismiss it because the implications, if it is something fucked up, are so massive. And I think, yeah, Braid's right. That scares people. Because then they have to do something about it. If there's a huge problem
Exactly.
and you know about it, then you have a responsibility, and people do not want that responsibility.
That's what I don't understand. Like, why? It's literally like the dude in the Matrix who wants to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
How? Why? Like,
But this is why.
Well,
this is why.
I mean, it's like a psychological warfare. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's like a beginning point to this type of astroturfing. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. There's got to be a beginning to this.
we got to remember too that like the human animal is we're an animal, right? And we're in one sense blessed with our brains, but it's also a curse. And our natural instinct is, screaming, stop thinking, just react, just go back to, it was so much easier, right?
Return
not
to
thinking.
monk.
Yeah, it's so much easier.
yeah.
Because like, why are cattle being raised for food? They're not scared their entire lives because they don't care. They don't know what's going on. They get picked out and they go down the trough. They don't want to think about that. And to be a cattle and
blacks
know,
are very stressed too.
Yep. And to to be a cattle and know it would be an absolutely horrifying experience. Because and the cows would probably kill the one that kept reminding them of what their actual life is and their situation is.
Yeah. Or
Even
they
though
kick
they-
him out of
yeah.
the pen at least.
Yeah, even though they have the well, they probably brutally murder him, because this is the type of thing that, you know, we do, right? We're more likely to have a public execution of somebody telling the truth than somebody who's lying.
Right. Yeah, that's the insanity, right?
Yep.
But you gotta, like, to understand it, and I'm not saying it like, oh, this makes sense, but to understand it, you gotta kind of use empathy and put yourself and go, okay, what if I thought like that? What would my reactions be? How, you know, what would upset me? What? And then you start saying, oh shit, yeah, that has to be the way people think, because this is what upsets them. They get more upset about being told that, like, the mass media can tell them the world's going to end, that there's terrorists going to blow them up and anything, and that'll scare them. And but that's kind of like this substitute for real life danger, right? And they know it's on TV, and yeah, they maybe they will die, but they kind of disassociate from it. It's scarier for them to hear that everything in, you know, all the authorities in the world are wrong and liars, or the majority of them are wrong and liars with devious intentions. That's scarier than being told global warming. Once again,
Yeah.
And I mean, people like I think people more often get angry at the person telling them that their girlfriend is cheating on them than their girlfriend for cheating on them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
BRB.
So here's the insanity part: is that they're willing to accept that human beings are bad. Human nature is bad by default, as opposed to thinking that that some propaganda or negative is introduced into the population to turn them against each other, create that divide, right? So I really believe that human beings by nature, because if you know, like us, we're talking to each other on Twitter. I met so many good people. You automatically attract good people, you know, when you're in that good place. And for example, us with the Marvettes, whatever, it's actually so like therapeutic, to be honest with you. It's so much fun because we can play roles that we're not at all. Well, some of us are, but but the point is that I met everyone through Twitter, and we had the girlfriends chat, and we all helped each other out. And there was, like, you know, a lot of deep issues that were discussed there that are very, you know, someone to confide in a complete stranger. That means that human beings by nature are good. So it should be much easier to believe that human beings are good, as opposed to thinking by nature they're bad. And yet it's the opposite. People, because obviously literature will tell you, like Karl Marx will tell you that human beings are bad and communism doesn't work because human beings are bad, you know. And then people will refer you to those, you know, Marxist communist books telling you that that's the truth. They rather believe in that than to believe that human nature is good, and that we get introduced concepts through social justice warriors now. But back then it was like, you know, what do you call them, like philosophers, right?
Yeah, that's also an excuse for bad behavior. And if I can go and say that all people are bad inherently, therefore when I do something bad, it's not that I made a bad choice. It's I'm just kind of being what I am. It's a cope, right? If you say people are inherently good and we've been, you know, easily led astray and we're doing bad things and making justifications for it, then what you're saying is that you could have been a good person, but you took the easy way out.
No, it's not what I'm saying. It's that
no. It's what I'm saying is, it's easier to go, oh, everybody has a bad. We're all really perverts inside, and that excuses my bad behavior. Then going, no. Everybody else is actually kind of good, and you've just decided to be a freak, and you're the minority, and you're the bad person.
Yes, exactly. That's the sad part, that like human, like the way that our society has become is they can't possibly believe that we're good people. That's the ultimate slap in your face and creation of misery, right? Oh yeah, we're polluting the environment. Yeah, the ice is melting because of us. You know, like nobody can believe that. Yeah, could it be that there's the HARP projects that is like modifying our weather patterns? You know, in Antarctica, there's like devices, there's advanced technology. Nobody can possibly think that that's possible because we're supposed to be bad inherently. You know.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's what I don't know what you think, Walrus and Marie.
Is that Air Raid Junior in the background?
Yeah.
Harry Jr.
Yelling at his sister to get in the shower.
Nah.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention for a second.
Oh, you were on Twitter, like into
Yep.
the snow Venus.
That's exactly what I was doing. Yes.
It can, once you get into those threads, it's like, it's you get like totally enthralled into it.
Apparently, I got added to a transphobic list too.
Oh, how do you know that?
The Brick just told me because apparently he's on it too, which is very ironic.
I kind of want to be on that list too. Then.
Let me say that. Wait, huh?
Sorry, you say Brick is
It's
on
not
it,
a
and
list.
that's ironic?
I am on a list of conservative cranks. That one's pretty interesting.
So who finds out that we're on lists and stuff? How do you do it? You search.
You can
yourself, or...
go to lists and you can choose to see which list you're on.
Uh huh.
And
Oh no, I gotta find out.
Oh, it's like an open thing.
yeah,
And then
Yeah.
you block that person, right?
yeah, and then you can get taken off of it. No, the other ones I'm on, I would I like friendly friends, waking up, patriot, quality, coziest, cozy friends. Yeah. I'm cool with
Dude.
those.
I'm on Horn Twitter.
What
Well,
the
that
fuck?
doesn't surprise anybody.
You know, I'm a good boy. Didn't do nothing wrong.
Didn't do nothing.
Mm.
Brick is like, it always does, and I never didn't do nothing. Ever.
I'm on a couple of good ones too. My last account, and pretty well every account before that used to be on all those. Anytime they put out a SPLC hate list or a Twitter list, I was on the damn things, and it was kind of like,
Yeah, I've been on
Not
a
sure.
few. Well, apparently there's
Yeah.
a plug-in that shows transphobic and transpositives accounts. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Oh my goodness. It's like an epic list.
Oh, apparently there's a plug-in that you can put on, I guess your browser or something.
Wait, let me turn that off. There's like fire truck.
That any transphobic accounts will show as transphobic is red and transpositive is green.
It's like liberalism is literally a mental disorder. Like, it literally is. I mean, like, you don't have to like trans people. Like, why do you have to like, why does it even have to be a topic? It's insane.
yeah, it's being pushed. It's being pushed for an agenda because nobody. See, I've talked about this before. I used to like some, somewhat degenerate shit. Like, and I always bring up Rocky Horror because that kind of delves into some of that kind of absolute degeneracy. But
I'm getting more information on this plug-in thing.
Oh.
It's called Shinigami Eyes.
So
Gotta
it's
tuck
like
I
a
gotta
app.
tuck in my kids and bring it back.
Wait up, Walrus. So it's like a program that detects transphobe.
Yeah, apparently. Here, I'm gonna look it
How
up.
do you like?
It
Well-
searches for the phrase "You will never be a woman."
Oh, it's a Chrome plugin apparently.
It searches for the phrase
Unbelievable.
"It's ma'am."
Yeah,
Yeah,
I tend
yes.
to use that GIF a lot.
Highlights
Like, it's a
transphobic,
man.
anti-LGBT, and trans-friendly subreddits, users, Facebook pages, groups with different colors. Supports Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, Medium, YouTube, Wikipedia article. Oh man, we gotta get our YouTube channel on this shit. Search engine results
Based,
and
yeah.
all sites with discus comments.
Wow,
Now we have a
that's
goal.
funny.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Hey.
Oh,
Howdy.
Johnny's
Welcome
back. Oh,
back.
Chris, Walter Cronkite. No, wait. Robert Down syndrome.
Yep.
How many accounts do you have?
2.
Okay.
Yeah, this isn't a regular list. It's a Google Chrome plugin that apparently highlights something like transphobic or whatever stuff as red. I don't like that term transphobic either because
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of them. They just make me nauseous.
Actually,
Well,
let me
we
counter
don't
signal
care,
that.
like-
I absolutely am afraid of them. Like, because one of the first movies I ever saw was Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, that is super disturbing.
That's a good reason. That's
Is that
definitely a
a
good
great
reason.
big fat lady?
I just think it's
Puts
gross.
the lotion in the basket.
Oh, it's so, I couldn't sleep
Are
after
you a
watching
size
that
14?
movie.
Fuck he says before he beats the shit out of her.
Gotta be size 14 like some big girls, huh?
They've been trying to desensitize us about transgender people for a long time.
Yes,
Like-
they have.
And with all the dressing up, like, you remember White Chicks?
Yeah.
Juana Man? Yeah.
Also, one of the most racist movies ever.
Yeah, and and then it's okay to do the opposite. It's always okay to do the opposite. It's so, and anytime you see, like,
Remember when it was funny for a dude to dress up as a woman to make fun of women? Remember when that was actually
Yes.
funny?
You remember
Yeah.
the kids in the hall?
yeah, that.
Yeah, it did
But they
that
were
Yeah,
all
that-
gay, by the way. Kids in the hall.
No,
Yeah, they were
Scott
all-
Thompson was gay, but I don't think the rest of them were.
I think they were.
I mean,
all-
if they were married.
it's hard to tell
to
because they're
women.
Canadian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're effeminate by nature. Not kidding. In Quebec we make fun of the French because we say they're like one sentence away from being gay.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think that they're necessarily moving so much to desensitize us to trans folk nowadays. I think that really was like the objective with things like White Chicks, or even going back to like Rocky Horror Picture Show. But now, when you see like really like the kind of the meme in our circles is drag queen story hour, and even like trans kids. It seems less that they're trying to desensitize us rather than they're trying to, force it down our throats. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really not like the.
You guys
like,
remember
the way that-
what was that? Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
just like the way that they did it with gays was that they kind of made gays seem normal. Like
Yeah.
gays were they just began to become like, I think like really the first TV show with like gays featuring prominently was like Will and Grace. I mean, I'm a bit of a zoomer, but that's kind of what I remember growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you hear Biden? He like said a bunch of shit. I saw an article about this recently where he was kind of like openly talking about Jews being behind all of this sort of like progressive social stuff, and he mentioned Will and Grace. He was like, "Oh, it was Will and Grace that for the average American, like the sitcom watching American, it was Will and Grace that made them think that, gay people were just like everyone else. They're just normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
You guys
like
remember
everybody
the
else.
Sleepaway Cabin?
Sleepaway Camp?
Yeah,
Yes.
Sleepaway Camp. That's it. Sleepaway Camp. Yeah. Remember when? Because that was an actual what female actress, right? But then when they do the big
Yeah,
reveal, to
a
show that
Jewess,
she's
by
actually
the
a
way.
dude, they cut.
What a
Yeah,
surprise.
they cut the fucking film. They manually spliced
There's
the
no
film
Jewish
of her head,
actresses.
and then
Come
the,
on,
and then the,
Quillan.
the naked body of a fucking dude. So it's just like a
Yeah.
dude's body with a chick's head on it.
Yeah.
So that
It's
movie's
pretty funny.
transphobic. Fucking hilarious.
It's
'cause you can see
I mean, like, to be honest, man, that like final shot where you see that her head like superimposed on some like Filipino dude's body, is terrifying. Like that strikes terror into your heart because
it
it's
is.
unnatural. It's horrifying.
you know.
Like seeing a dude in fucking makeup, like a dude in lipstick or some shit. Like it's like it triggers something primal in your brain where you're just disgusted. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, but see, like my
And that's
reaction
there
is
for a
always like,
reason.
I'm not horrified to see it. I'm horrified. I'm horrified by the fact that I'm not allowed to make fun of them for it. That's really
Well,
what
that's-
horrifies me.
Yeah.
That, and also it's degenerate behavior that I don't approve of.
And
Yeah,
you know,
it's less
for-
that they exist and more that just the system accepts them. Is
well,
better
not only
than
accepts,
you.
shoves it shoves it
Yeah.
in your face. Like
Yeah.
you're supposed to think it's great. And the most offensive thing for women is to go into a Sephora and there's a dude with like his eyes completely made out and like makeup on a dude, and then he comes to try to help you. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. Like, you're not a woman. And they're not even transgender. They're just
Yeah.
dudes wearing insane amount of like what do you call like smoky eyes, and it's so disturbing. I'm like, and I always try to avoid them, but they always come and see me, and I'm like, okay, I just want to, I mean, and they do terrible service because they're not a woman. They don't understand my needs. They don't understand what I like. And they'll suggest things that are
Yeah.
not, he's not a woman. How can he understand what I want? I don't want to see.
Yeah,
his
the last
face.
thing you want is a gay dude doing your makeup. It's all fucking gauche and overdone.
Well,
Make
a
it look
gay
like a
dude,
tranny.
a gay dude wearing
Sweetheart, listen
makeup.
to me.
I mean,
I know more than you do. Okay, sweetheart, please. Okay, I'm gonna make
They
you look
really think
fucking
they-
fabulous. Everyone's gonna fucking crap when they see you.
it's
I'm gonna
so
make you look like a
disgusting.
transvestate. You'll look fabulous.
Well, it's not even that. Like, Walter,
Yes.
It's the fact that he's wearing makeup. I mean, it's bad enough. It's bad enough that you want to do it with dudes and you're a dude, but then to put that in my face that you're wearing all this makeup, and then coming to try to help me, it's insanity. It's so disturbing. I'm like, don't wear makeup, at least.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few
But
of them.
then they also try to do movies like Brokeback. They do. Oh, sorry. Sorry
Go
about
ahead.
that.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say then they make movies like Brokeback Mountain to show that see even men's men can be gay too. See, even cowboys, real men can
Yeah,
be
yeah.
gay too.
That
It's
was
just like-
horrible.
I doubt there's any guys running the fucking rodeo who are actually gay. I doubt any of those guys are actually gay. It's just
Yeah.
not-
Well, I
they're
think it's
not-
more
they're
insidious.
raised
Clowns.
properly with
I think
parents
though,
that
like
love
the
them.
meta narrative
Rodeo clowns.
on that movie is kind of even more insidious than that. Because
I mean,
those were
I'm gonna
both
tell
like,
you, like I've known guys who like rode bulls in the rodeo and shit. They're not gay. Like the main reason you get into that is to get chicks. Like
Yeah, exactly. Let me do the most manly thing I can because I don't want women around.
Right.
When I walk into the bar looking like
exactly.
like Clint Eastwood on steroids and covered in dust, and all the women just swoon. That's not what I was looking for. at
No
all.
guy wants that. I mean, come on.
Yeah, like that's retarded. Like, well, think of those gay firemen. I mean, like, why does anyone want to be a fireman? Because they're gay, not because you walk into the grocery store.
Because they like to play with hoses.
Yeah.
You walk into the grocery store in your fireman's uniform and panties drop, and you're just like, that's disgusting. You women, stop slobbering over me.
Oh man, fireman is one of my favorite profession on a dude. I find them so noble. I mean, it's the most manly thing a man can do.
I've known a few that most of them aren't
Yeah.
very noble.
Oh well, I knew one of them, and he was one of the riders at Vancouver, and he was a pretty cool guy. Like, so.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like anything else. There's a lot of good dudes in whatever trade you go into. I mean, I'm sure there's even half decent office workers and bankers and things, right? But
No, but I mean, it's a selfless job, right, Siren? Like,
well, yeah, but they get paid really well, and they don't have to work all that much, and they get chicks, so it's not selfless. But yeah, no, I'm sorry, I'm
no, but they go and help,
most
like,
just being a
save the
firefighter is just
kitty.
sitting in the station.
yeah,
No,
no,
but-
absolutely. Yeah, no, they do, and they save lives, and they cut people out of cars, and they have to see horrible shit, and they do it.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
do
Yeah,
it, right?
absolutely.
But
Well,
I'm not saying they're not heroes and they don't deserve all of they can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
but
Well-
if I may interject,
Yeah.
in California, I dated a guy who was a
Gay?
Christian Adventist. No, an Advent, like you know
Seventh
that
Day
Yeah.
Seventh-day Adventist. Yeah, exactly. And apparently, some of them are vegetarian. But this dude,
Yeah, those people are kind of weird.
this dude, this dude was a paramedic, and
Yeah.
a little bit weird. But the thing is, he wanted to be a fireman. He goes, "Oh well, I can't be a fireman because I'm white. They only give those jobs to the Latinos and the blacks." In California anyway. And he said, I always wanted to, and he's like, they triage, apparently they accept Latinos and blacks over white people for
Yeah.
the job of a fireman.
The affirmative action thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like,
Well, in California, they weren't turning away anybody for a fireman, were they? For a while, like, because they had so many goddamn fires, you know.
well, understood, but I think it was before the dry spell, like that he was
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to become a fireman.
Yeah, because it got to a point where they were using fucking they'd let people out of prison. They were like, yeah, if you come join, you can come on the fire crew, and because they needed people on the fire. I know a few people that joined the fire crews, like up in Mendocino County, just because they didn't want to watch their forest burn,
Yeah.
Yeah. so
Air
any-
raid, I did want to
Yeah.
push back on you just a little bit. You did say
Volunteer
that,
firemen and shit like that.
So yeah.
you did say that there were good people in all jobs. I don't think there are any good moils.
Yeah, they're
Any good what?
Moils.
Moils.
Oh no, well, it's not a job. That's not a job.
It takes a special.
sorry
kind,
guys.
yeah.
There's a delay in my audio again.
That's all good.
Yes.
Takes a special kind to become a moil. That's for sure.
Yeah. That's being part
A
of a
chosen kind, you could say.
yeah.
Yeah, it's for the chosen few.
That's being a member of an evil cult, right? Like that's not.
That's definitely a calling for the chosen few, right?
Yeah. But good
It's-
point. Good point.
You know.
is it wrong, like I don't want to go into the penis stuff. No, I'll not go into it.
What, no, you can't
What?
drop that and then step away from it. Come on.
No, but the thing is, like, is it good or bad to be circumcised or not? Is for the dude,
She said the
You
penis is
tell
bad.
us.
it's bad, right?
It's bad. Yeah. Not
Yeah.
a good thing.
I'd say it's bad.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not happy about it.
Fucking- It's a blood sacrifice.
It,
Yeah,
it
so I
wasn't
wanna
done. It
understand-
wasn't
Yeah.
done to me, and I wouldn't have. I didn't have
Neither
it done
am
to
I,
my
buddy.
son. I didn't have it done to my son, and actually, my sorry to cut you off, Zara, but the doctor that delivered my son was a Jewish lady,
Mhm.
and I didn't have a choice in the matter. Just happened to be the doctor we had. And as soon as my boy's born, she's going, okay, well, of course you're going to get him circumcised, so this is what you do. I'm like, no.
Mhm.
And she was like stunned and was like, well, you should think about it. I'm like, no, absolutely not.
Mhm.
End
Yeah.
of discussion. That's it. And I turned away. I'm like, I'm not talking with you anymore about this. And she was quite, oh my God, how can you, like,
Yeah,
Oh,
I
God,
just
this
delivered a
girl
white
is
supremacist
indoctrinate-
baby.
Yeah, indoctrinated, right? Indoctrinated.
Well, she's Jewish too, on top of it all, right? But they're pushing it.
They shouldn't be pushing it. For
Yeah.
Sure.
No, I know. They should be doing the opposite. They never should have
they
started
push
in
it.
the first place.
They push
Yeah.
it here in America too. I mean, obviously, big time.
Yeah, and
Yeah, especially like in the 80s and 90s, it was like there was this huge, explosion of it in the U.S.
Of what? Was a huge explosion of what?
Circumcisions, like being a thing for for non-Jews.
Well, actually, this is kind of
Get your mind out of the gutter.
well, I'm sure Jews are to blame in some deep way. I mean, obviously, they kind of invented the practice. I mean, at least carried it forward to the modern age.
Mhm.
But in America, circumcision was kind of proposed at like the end of the 19th century, is by that guy Kellogg, the guy that made the cereal.
Yep.
And it was a way to. The idea was basically it would stop people from masturbating, because he was a big like Christian moralist. He was like, get your kids.
Clearly didn't work.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
No, you go.
So
Otherwise, I'd be very unhappy with my life.
so it does desensitize, right?
Yeah. It also dries it out and makes it actually more likely to have infection.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Now the
I
thing is,
I got to be honest, I'm pretty normal. Like, I've never really had any problems with it, but I do.
No,
know some
no,
people
it's-
with problems.
like clearly, it's not a life-ending surgery, and if you keep yourself clean and healthy, it shouldn't be a problem. But it's not. It's a detriment.
Right.
whether or not, yeah.
I would say it should be
Yeah.
banned for sure. I mean, at least
Yeah.
in infants.
No, absolutely.
Well, that's the
I'm
thing.
like-
I'll be right back.
When
Yeah.
my so in
Because even if it
Bangladesh,
didn't affect sensitivity, it's still a mutilation.
it is. I mean, in Africa they do the
Right.
female version of it as well. That's called the not the.
Yeah,
it's
and
not a
that's really
circum-
bad.
It's even
Female
worse.
genital mutilation.
Yeah,
is
in
basically what's
Africa
called
it's even
FGM.
worse. Yeah, exactly. So the point what I was gonna say is that I know my like in my culture, obviously every in Muslim culture is the same as the Jews. But my brother, they hadn't done it for the longest time, and poor guy, they made him do his circumcision when he was like 8, and I was like, I can't believe he had to go through that at 8, like in the house, and like being like, imagine like when you're not an infant and you take longer to heal and you're like older kid, having to go through that. It was insane for me to see that. So like just recently when I woke up, I realized that stuff is again, it's like it's not a conspiracy, but it's something evil. Like it's something that's introduced into the culture through religion, and to make you think like you're better when you do it.
Well, and then they try to make the excuse of like, well, it's not masturbation anymore. It's just to try to keep everything clean. You don't want bacteria in there, so cut it off.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll always give this
Hey, honey.
non-science, like the non-science drives
Yeah.
me nuts.
No.
Here's the
Tell
thing.
people are talking.
They
I was
go.
looking for,
Walrus, go on mute.
But
Is that Walrus's Bulgarian waifu?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Based.
It's his mail order Bulgarian bride.
No, he's the mail
yeah, I
order.
was about to say
Oh
that.
yeah,
I was
true.
about to
Yeah, I
say-
was gonna say.
He's the mail order.
Yeah.
mail order mail. When they say stuff like bacteria and this and that, there's there's some truth to some of what they say. But are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Every time it goes like there's no breathing, no background noise, I'm like, oh, I lost contact again. But here's the thing: like we are, like human beings are symbiotic. Like the human animal is symbiotic with thousands of types of bacteria, right? Like it's how we digest our food. It's part of us. It actually protects us. Having good bacteria all over our skin will actually prevent the growth of bad bacteria.
Yeah.
Right. So the idea of having no foreskin, and therefore you don't have bacteria on the end of your penis, is somehow good. It's bad because it means that you don't have the good protective bacteria and bodily fluids that are supposed to be there. Yeah, you certainly have to wash it off, of course. Sorry if we're getting too clinical here, but
sorry about that, guys.
You got to keep yourself clean, but you don't want to wipe out the good bacteria out of your body. The whole reason why you go on antibiotics and it wipes out your bacteria count. And if you want to be healthy and you don't want to get diseases and infections, you actually go on probiotics, right? Like you take bacteria.
That's for your bowels, isn't it?
Yeah, it's for your entire system, but yeah, particularly for your digestive tract.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is wash your penis, Bucko.
Yeah.
Can
anybody do a Jordan Peterson voice for that?
You're the Canadian
wash your
one.
penis. You need to wash your penis.
Yeah. You need to wash your penis. Clean your room.
Come on, guys, you gotta wash. No, that's not right voice. Fuck, what is it?
If you don't wash
that was
your
pretty
penis,
good, actually.
It's gonna get dirty and it's
so
gonna get an
I don't know if you
infection.
guys know, but Princess is a microbiologist, so she's saying balanced pH on the skin, and that's so true. Like the soaps that we use, it has to be non-alkaline. Like alkaline soap is so bad for you, like the Dove and all this bullshit stuff. So your pH is a little bit acidic, so it's slightly lower than 7. So when you use alkaline, that's when you promote the bad bacterias. Bacteria protect you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah,
Very
it's
important.
crazy when you think of the human organism as an ecosystem, right?
It is,
it's,
yeah.
It's
It
not
definitely
one
is, yeah.
not one object. It's a multitude. And
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
there was I was reading an article about and this sounds retarded. This sounds actually something like would be designed by evil doctors to destroy the world or something. But I heard about they were looking at a cure for like Crohn's disease or one of these kind of digestive tract bowel problems, and they were solving it with shit implants.
Yeah, the fecal fecal
yeah.
transplants.
Yeah. No, I mean
that's a real thing.
It's a shit fucking transplant.
Yeah.
Because the bacteria in these people who have these diseases is upset, so they try to reintroduce the proper bacteria and the proper get you to the kind of levels where you're functioning properly again. And it's crazy to think that you have a bacteria is bad. Why would you want to shove that up?
No.
Well, because they made people think that bacteria is bad, especially with all this antibacterial. But like,
some bacteria is, and in the wrong levels, it'll kill you. But yeah,
you don't want you don't want to like wipe your ass with your bare hand and then not wash it afterwards.
It's mostly the
fucking
difference.
E. coli.
It's mostly the difference between aerobic and anaerobic bacteria.
Yeah,
for the most part, aerobic bacteria are the good for you, for the most part, and that's another reason
I know
why oxygenation is really important.
Yeah,
for health.
South Park shit. What is he talking about?
Yes, they did. It was the episode just for the ladies, and it was all about fucking Kyle's mom getting a fucking shit implant. And it was like everyone wanted to like break into Tom Brady's house to take his shit because he's like the ultimate athlete. And everyone was like, they were making a parody of Dune, so every time they saw the shit, it was like, it's the spice melange. It was funny.
I love Dune. It's one of my favorite movies.
And Kyle's eyes would like glow blue, because he's the only one who could see the turds like glowing with like fairies flying around or whatever the fuck.
the spice worms.
Spice worms, huh?
Such an epic movie. I actually own it on Blu-ray. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
Dune?
a good movie.
Yes,
Everyone
Dune.
says, "Oh, it's transphobic and racist."
Well, that sounds
So
good
many
already.
people keep saying it's homophobic.
The
and
Kwisatz
fucking racist.
Haderach. I actually read the books. The books are better than the movie, but I mean the movie was pretty epic. I actually had a crush on Kyle MacLachlan. I'm not gonna lie.
Really? I don't even know who that is. So.
Yeah, in the
guy
chat,
from,
Congo.
Yeah.
Congo said people survived for hundreds of thousands of years without a bunch of scientific soap or whatever.
Yep.
And I was going to say kind of the point that Araid made about how we do need these bacteria for our healthy homeostasis. There's kind of a theory that like all these relatively new like allergies that kids have, especially like peanut allergies, these are all due to basically the immune system figuring out just not having anything to attack on like a regular basis.
Exactly.
So it just starts attacking.
Well, here's
a lot of it does come from vaccinations because it overstimulates
There's other issues going on there too, and I'll tell you a little anecdote. This is just anecdotal, so it's not a scientific experiment by any means. But when I had my daughter, she's a little baby, and we were being told don't give them peanut butter and keep citrus away from the baby until they're certain months old and all this shit. And my ex took it to heart and started doing this shit. I said that was stupid. I said it was stupid. Don't let them develop. Don't let your child develop in a sterile environment. It's bad for them. So when my ex wasn't looking, I was rubbing peanut butter, put a tiny little bit of peanut butter on my finger and let my daughter taste it, and I'd actually touch her skin with it. My ex would have flipped out had she known I was doing that. But by the time our son was born, so this was 3 years later, they had changed their thoughts on that and gave us like a pamphlet with all this like, oh no, it's okay, don't do any of that stuff, and blah blah blah. And I was like, I fucking told you, I told you this. We develop immunities by being exposed to stuff, not by being isolated from it.
Exactly. That's what the doctors from California were arguing, and they made them look so bad. It's insane.
The COVID guys.
Yeah, the COVID guys,
saying,
California. They're like, washing the hands is insanity. It's like the opposite of logic and science. They're like, the more you expose yourself, the more your body creates immunity, and your body has natural bacteria that fights back for you.
Yep, having a good natural biome in there prevents other infections and all kinds of stuff. It's when you're using all this antibacterial crap and everything, you're killing off your natural defenses, and then it leaves like a perfect breeding ground for the bad bacteria because there's nothing there to. It's like there's only so much food there and stuff, you know what I mean, and real estate and all that good stuff.
Exactly.
So
I'm posting a picture of this Kyle McLaughlin guy that Zara had a crush on in the Fren Report live chat, so you can see what she's into.
So delicious.
You see the picture?
Yeah, but I mean,
he was in
this
the
is
Desperate
like,
Housewives. Okay, sorry, that's it.
Oh no, but this is like kind of like a well-known thing, but like it's generally.
Oh my god!
What? And there was Sean King, the girl.
Wow.
What? I was a teenager. What did you expect?
He looks like he would fit in at that party with Zuckerberg.
Right?
He was super manly.
Looks like he could be a butler at a Bohemian
Let
Grove.
me find a better.
I specifically picked that picture because it made him look
You
as
did
bad
that
as
on
possible.
purpose, Siren.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna be a butler at Bohemian Grove. You're gonna serve the bushes.
Excuse me, sir. Where would you like the babies served?
Stop.
Oh, there was something I wanted to bring up.
Princess, help me! Princess,
sorry,
don't
Zara.
go.
Sorry, I had to do it. As soon as I saw that picture, I was like, I have to.
There is something I wanted to bring up tonight. That was having to do with the elections and stuff. It has to do with Sidney Powell's lawsuit, and they got this guy, Navid Khashoggi, but he's like one of the world's top cybersecurity experts and stuff.
Yep.
And he's like confirmed a lot of the stuff that's in And I mean, he's worked for the CIA, NSA, FBI, all kinds of stuff. Uh, Basically, here's what he had to say. Hammer and scorecard is real, not a hoax, and both are used to manipulate election outcomes. Dominion, ES&S, Skytle, and Smartmatic are all vulnerable to fraud and vote manipulation, and the mainstream media reported on those vulnerabilities in the past. Dominion has been used in other countries to forge election results. Dominion's corporate structure is deliberately confusing to hide relationships with Venezuela, China, and Cuba. Dominion's machines are easily hackable. Dominion memory cards with cryptographic key access to the systems were stolen in 2019. He had no
How the hell
access
do I
to
get
the
in
machines, but looking at all available data about the election and vote results, he concluded the counts in the disputed states, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia, show electronic manipulation. The simultaneous decision in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia to pretend to halt counting votes was unprecedented and demonstrated a coordinated effort to collude toward desired results. 1 to 2% of votes were forged in Biden's favor. Optical scanners were set to accept unverified, unvalidated ballots. Scanners failed to keep records for audits, an outcome that must have been deliberately programmed. The stolen cryptographic key, which applied to all voting systems, was used to alter vote counts. Favorable votes pouring in after hours for Biden cannot be accounted for by a Democrat preference for mailed-in ballots. They demonstrated manipulation. For example, in Pennsylvania, it was physically impossible to feed 400,000 ballots into the machines within 2 to 3 hours. Dominion used Chinese parts, and there's reason to believe that China, Venezuela, and Cuba interfered in the election. There was a hammer and scorecard cyber attack that altered votes in the battleground states.
All right, guys, I gotta leave the call. I'm having trouble getting into this place. Hold on.
All right.
Oh.
There was a hammer and scorecard cyber attack that altered votes in the battleground states and then forwarded the results to Skytle servers in Frankfurt, Germany. And the systems failed to produce any auditable results. Which is kind of what I was saying. He pretty much just confirmed everything I've said. Which is that they were deliberately designed to be easily manipulated and then set up so that you wouldn't be able to go back and be like, oh, this is what they did. In a system like election software and shit, that's like ridiculous, you know?
Yeah. If you're designing something with security in mind, you don't put in any of the portals and accesses that they did.
Yeah.
You don't have it hooked up where it could even remotely ever be connected to a remote server.
Yeah. Yeah,
You have it absolutely isolated, and it should be easily audible.
He didn't even mention that, but the fact that it was on the internet is like utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, that's it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, the thing with this now, you're gonna have an election. You're gonna have thousands of voting machines, and you have these two options offered you by security, the security designers. One person says we're going to have each machine individual, cannot be connected to anything else, are not connected to any other of the other machines. They each have an individual code to turn them on and access, and at the end of it all, they store the information. It can't be erased without destroying the machine, and therefore is completely auditable because of that. You can download it, everything's time stamped, and if any of the information is meddled with, you'll see it instantly, and then you can discount the entire machine without damaging the rest of the election. You say one machine, boom.
Yeah, you would have to deliberately program it to be like this, like.
Or the other option is you have a system where they're all the same. They all have the same security key, So if anybody gets access to that key, they can manipulate any of the machines, and you can remotely access them, and they're difficult to audit. Well, which of those two systems seems like what you'd go for if you cared about the security of your election, right? Like, obviously, it wouldn't be what they have.
Yeah.
And they were warned about it. They admitted they were warned about it. They talked about it, and like that CNN thing,
Yeah.
CNN.
They've been reporting on this for years.
Yeah.
And how ridiculous, and like it's utterly ridiculous. Like as a cybersecurity fucking infosec guy, I'm like,
yeah.
What do you mean? There's no logs. There's no. What do you mean it was connected to the internet? Like they had clear text passwords. Like any fucking.
Yep.
You take a fucking coding boot camp, you know, like a web development coding boot camp that over the weekend, and they teach you. If you're storing passwords, you hash and salt it, or salt and hash it, and fucking, you know what I mean? There's no way you store plain text fucking passwords, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and on something that important, like, the idea is just ridiculous, you know?
Once again, it that alone gives clear indication of what their intentions were right off the bat. You don't need to sit around mulling over it, discussing it anymore. It should be immediately investigated. Like,
yep.
Find out who did this, how did it get through, who's behind this, because those people are guilty of sedition, right? Or interference, foreign interference.
Even if like. They're like, oh, well, there's no proof because there's no logs or whatever. That's proof enough, really. You know what I mean? That why is this shit in there? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, that's not by accident, you know? There's no way that it would have to be intentionally made to be fucking ridiculously stupid.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of it, right? Like,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just agreeing. Yeah.
I don't know, because I did jump in here late. Did you guys talk about that tweet from Paul Sperry?
No, what was that one?
No, I kind of don't know who Paul Sperry is. He says he worked for Investors Business Daily in the Hoover Institution, but he says this was about 8 hours ago. He said, "Breaking: capitulating to Stacey Abrams' pressure groups. Georgia election officials have extended the use of fraud-prone absentee ballot drop boxes for January 5th Senate runoffs and early processing, prompting one county GOP official to warn, 'We will lose both Senate seats in January.'" And then Twitter flagged this with their little blue exclamation point message saying, "Learn how voting by mail is safe and secure."
Of course it.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, yeah,
I don't know. I don't know about obviously I think the drop boxes are pretty terrible, but I'm kind of in favor of the early processing. I actually suggest. I mean, it was I had the idea that like. These early ballots should be in like a week before the election, and they should be processed before the polls actually open on election day. And then after the polls open on election day, like there's no more counting the mail-in ballots or anything. like that.
You can't use them to manipulate anything because they've already been tallied.
Right.
And
you can always fake them before, but I mean at least
Yeah, but you can't do it after the fact. Like once again, they find out like. They're manipulating things and they go, "Oh shit, we need more of this because we didn't manipulate enough."
Which is exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I think happened on election night too. I think we all think that, but
we kind of
in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, when they and in Georgia when they stopped counting and then started recounting at 4 a.m. in the morning with 200,000 to 20,000 votes for Biden.
Right.
That was obvious fraud.
Yeah. I mean, it's like ridiculously obvious. You know?
It was funny, too. I think you guys talked about it a couple weeks ago, but there was that BBC article about, like, how to spot election interference in Africa.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like one of them was like the count suddenly stops and then it suddenly starts up again with a clear difference in how the voting trends are going. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it was like
Wow.
everything they mentioned in there is exactly what happened. Like every
Yep.
single one of them, you're like, holy shit. Yeah, Giuliani was talking about that in the Pennsylvania press conference, which we got the Arizona hearing tomorrow too, don't we? Let me see. I think we do.
So prediction time. What do you guys think is actually going to happen with this? Do you think he'll flip no states? Do you think he'll flip some states but still not win? Do you think he'll flip enough to win? I mean, what do you guys? What's your feel for it right now?
I'm kind of thinking that there's going to be enough shit that they're going to have to that'll show that there's no way they can trust the election at all.
But Arizona's going to flip, then Pennsylvania, then Wisconsin. That's what I think.
Well, that would be enough for Trump to win, for
Yes,
sure.
exactly.
I'm not sure if they'll
Arizona-
actually flip. I think because I don't know if they can actually undo it or whatever.
They can, because CNN gave a path to the flip, right? They said if he can prove that there were illegitimate votes after the fact, then he automatically wins the mail-in ballot.
When did they say this?
So Wisconsin,
Just
they
a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
wow.
yeah, I think I posted it. Basically, Wisconsin received ballots after the fact. So as soon as you prove that in court, he wins, because anything after the day of election is considered irrelevant.
Yeah, that was a big thing in Pennsylvania too.
Exactly.
And
So
that will probably be enough to flip it.
yes.
But there's so much fraud that I think more likely they're going to show that there's no way you can trust the results. That's still good, because then it goes to Congress, to the House. Each state gets one vote, and
Five out of 4 will be for Trump.
Yeah, so he's gonna win that way.
And I feel like California is going to be very contested and is heavily ridden with fraud, because I don't know if you saw the last days before the elections. It was an insane amount of Trump supporters.
Yeah.
People are fed
I
up.
mean, I do live in California. I live in Los Angeles. I can say that. Yeah, I can say that. Yeah, there are a lot of Trump supporters out here. I actually saw a little bit of a big truck parade at at the beach, and I saw a pretty cute woman wearing a MAGA hat down by the beach too. So yeah, he does have support in California. There's also, you could tell from that website they did. It was DonaldTrump.watch, where you could see all the people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There were tons of people in California that donated to him, at least a few every block. And I didn't donate to him either year, 2016 or 2020, and frankly I didn't even like him very much in 2020, but I did vote for him in 2020.
I didn't like him that much in 2016, to tell the truth. But I hated Hillary. So
Yeah, a lot of my
Yeah.
friends who voted for Trump because they didn't trust Hillary, believe it or not, a lot of the community discussed it, and they're like, well, Hillary can't be trusted, so we're gonna vote
Yeah.
Trump.
And it's like I've talked about a lot. There's Trump the man and Trump the symbol. So I didn't trust Trump the man, but I was behind Trump the symbol. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I'm not even an American, but I was separated already from my ex when the election happened and Trump won. And I remember I was driving around with a Trump Pence bumper sticker. It was awesome, by the way. I watched a fruity looking liberal type on his bicycle almost ditch his bike when he saw it. My car parked on the side of the road with the Trump bumper sticker. he like dipped, and you know how you wobble your front wheel on a bicycle and almost tip it over? Well, that's what he did, and I was laughing my ass off. The trigger of it.
You were in it
But
for the libtard
yeah, I was
ownage.
for the shit posting, right? But when he won it, I was still in my old house, and I was coming in, and my ex said, "Oh, you know, you must be happy, you know, Trump won." I was like, "Yeah, I don't really care. I don't really care about him. Like, he's not the point."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm happy that there's a big middle finger to the establishment, but I didn't have a whole lot of faith in him as a person.
And that's kind of what it boils down to. Like I said, it's more about Trump, the symbol, is a populist symbol and anti-establishment, that type of thing. Because I never really believed that Trump was really anti-establishment. I mean, come on.
Well, no, he really.
He is anti-establishment. He's anti-swamp, like.
Yeah, but he's not. He's not like
Trump the symbol is. I don't know about Trump the man so much.
I mean, the guy hired John Bolton.
Like,
yeah.
Well,
yeah,
the way
exactly.
I look at it, the way I look at Trump. Oh, sorry. Finish your sentence, Siren.
No, go. You're talking. Go ahead.
What I wanted to say is that because I never liked him before when he was on The Apprentice, I thought he was like a loser. I actually thought that, but like me, I started liking him only when I realized like his policies are freaking amazing.
Yeah.
But and I really believe in. I hate the concept of sending manufacturing abroad, especially the abuse of the cheap labor. It ruins everything. So I was on board because of the policies, not at all because of the symbol or how he was like the kind of like the showman back in the days. But I really feel like it's been planning this for a long time, because when you look at his old interviews from ages ago, you can tell he's very politically inclined, and he has a lot of knowledge of the republic, basically how it's supposed to be governed. So one
theory that's I think is pretty likely was he thought he was going to lose before he was the Republican candidate. He didn't. I don't think he planned on getting past the primaries, but just in case, he still seemed to be acting like he knew he was going to lose it, because he was already saying stuff right off the bat. If I got so much, everybody loves me so much. If I lose, it had to have been, an inside job, long before there's any indication that any shenanigans would go down. And he was apparently making moves to form a media empire to actually be the right wing. The right wing alternative in media. Like, he was apparently making deals and setting up contracts with people. He loses, he goes off, and he gets all the attention, and Fox News is part of the establishment, and I'm the only real right side, right wing voice.
Yeah. And they were actually posting articles about like how it could be dangerous if Trump loses, because he could be affecting elections forever by supporting certain candidates and stuff like that.
Yep. And I think he was as surprised as anybody else when it really started rolling along, which is why he kind of came out swinging, and it looked like he had an idea what he was doing. And then all of a sudden he just kind of let loose, and it was like he just doesn't have any plan. Like, he's just saying whatever the fuck comes to mind, and people clap, and then he looks at this is what they want. He looked in my opinion, he looked surprised. But it's funny, Zara, that you brought up the Apprentice. I never watched the show like when it was on. I've seen clips of it and stuff, but one clip from that show made me actually kind of like Trump, and I saw it around the time that it aired. He had there's some white guy who was, talking about where he was from and this and that. And he said the guy called himself white trash. Mm-hmm. And Trump tore a strip off him. So don't ever say that again. Don't ever call yourself white trash.
Yeah.
Don't ever demean yourself. And he pretty well kicked the guy off and said I won't have anybody around me who thinks like that, and don't you dare,
Yeah, yeah, deprecation or like making your saying negative things about yourself, obviously.
Yep.
But I think more like Congo is writing in the chat is that I believe that Trump has been part of the elite for a long time in New York City. He knows
Yep.
he basically infiltrated the whole system, and he knows exactly. You have to, like, if you're gonna win at chess, like at the level of winning that he's winning at the moment, you have to be one of them. You have to. How can you know their every move or predict what they're gonna do?
Yep.
So that's why I really feel that the only person who can take down the deep state is someone who was part of the deep state. That's the way I look at it.
Well, is he really winning though? I mean,
He's putting on right now. Well, I guess you guys are not the Q people, so I actually follow.
No.
Yeah, so I
No,
follow Q
yeah.
quite a bit because of the intelligence drops, and from what I understand, from the intelligence
Probably
drops.
counterintelligence drops, but
Well, yeah, I mean,
Mm.
obviously, you're entitled to the thought. Like, there's the people who are thinking, the Trump in the normal sense, like just politician and like winning. But there are people who also look deeper in thinking that it's all a show, because the only way to show the election fraud is to actually go through this process to show the people the reality. Because even like Dems are like starting to question the count and the mail-in ballots, and they're starting to question all of it. So the point is, if he didn't play the game that he played, and if he didn't imagine if he just won straight up, and he would, and everybody hates him. Everybody hates him according to the liberals and according to the media, that he's such a horrible person. Imagine if he had won a second term like that. What would happen? What do you think would happen? Like, nobody would know about the bad things that the Dems do. They would just continue to hate on him.
Yeah, and it would be hard. It'd be hard for him to get any headway in it, because it wouldn't be like he's done some house cleaning to an extent that, and we don't really hear too much about it. We hear little things, but he's also limited to what he can actually do. And I mean, everybody would like to have seen him be more effective, absolutely. But in my opinion, I think he's been not extremely effective, but he's been more effective than I expected.
Trump's an occultist. He's all part of it.
Hey, see, my friend's here.
Trump's an antichrist, man. Everybody put their faith in him and this and that. Just wait.
I was just about to mention tomorrow we can do visual aids. We'll have to plan it out at first so you can get them to me, so then I can put them on the screen, whether it's links or images or whatever, and then
images. But it's all in the numbers, man. This shit's been going back hundreds of years. It goes back to George Washington. It's been around for ages. All this shit had to happen, dude. Elvis had to happen. Freaking, dude, the Seattle Space Needle had to be built. The Obama had to be elected. The George Walker, both had to be elected. All these things, I don't know if they've got divination. I don't know if they just got it all from their numbers games that they play. But my buddy cracked the code. They got this code they use, and it's all like gematria and shit. And he cracked it. And it's nuts, man. It's absolutely nuts. It's unbelievable. The stuff that it all ties together with numbers. And Elvis, this is gonna sound crazy because I haven't made the case yet, but Elvis is gonna come in June between the 10th and the 14th. Elvis is gonna launch right out of that freaking Space Needle, and people are gonna see the image of Elvis come out of an attack or whatever happens to the Space Needle, right? And then people are going to be like, holy crap. And you're going to have people that actually worship this vestige of Elvis. and they're gonna because Elvis it all ties in with his numbers, man, and Trump is linked to Elvis, and the image of Elvis is going to be like a what do you call that? Like a proxy for Trump,
Yeah.
right? And then in August, Trump's going to either, there's, I don't want to say this on air, but something's going to happen to Trump, and he's going to, everybody's going to think he's passed away, right? And that's going to be like around Obama's birthday on the 4th of August. And then in a few days, he's going to rise like Lazarus. He's going to play the role of this Lazarus figure. I'm still here. Nothing happened. I'm okay. And all this stuff's linked up, man, and it's all backed by their numbers. It's unbelievable, man. It just sounds crazy, but when you break it down and use their gematria, use their numerology, whatever you want to call it,
I'm back.
When you break it down, it all adds up. All the numbers fit.
Yeah,
And
maybe we should
you
compare the astrology of what's going on there too, because that plays a big role.
Yeah, see, I haven't done that.
Oh.
I haven't done that part, but I can only imagine it backs it up. I mean, it
Yeah.
has to.
And I'm not talking
you know,
about the
Pepe's
astrology.
girlfriend. Pepe's girlfriend did a nice numerology and astrology reading on Trump on her page, because she's really studies the astrology part. So I'll send that to you guys in the chat.
Yeah.
But
And
I
when
gotta
say
drop
that, I don't
some-
mean like what you're gonna read in the newspaper under your horoscope or whatever. Like,
No, it's not
No,
like that.
no.
No, it's not like that. She
Yeah.
did it's really cool. I mean, it's based on anyway.
Yeah,
I'll send it
if
to
she
you guys.
knows numerology and gematria and all of that, yeah, that stuff's all tied together.
yeah. Well,
right.
usually what they call numerology is the not the Pythagorean, the Platonic system.
Right. Well, they do have a Pythagorean system too.
Yeah.
There's
But it's the
several-
Platonic or more
Right.
Neoplatonist, but yeah,
Right.
system that they call numerology. Like if you get a book on numerology, that's going to be about
Right.
the Platonist
kinda-
system.
Yeah, they don't. There's not a whole lot of in the layman's circles. There's not a lot of differentiation,
Yeah.
but
Which there is
There's,
stuff to the Platonist system too.
mhm.
They don't use it as much because it's so well known.
Right,
you know?
right.
They used to use it a lot more.
Yeah, as soon as people start figuring out, they change it up.
Yeah, they change it up. Like there's this, I think I mentioned this before. Well, I don't know if I mentioned it on stream. I think it might have been just when I was talking to you. But there's this guy, Alan Greenfield, who wrote a book called Secret Cipher of the Euphonauts. This kind of touches back on what I was saying before about like Alan Parsons and stuff. Because when you get into
Right.
the UFO phenomenon,
John
it has
Parsons.
Jack Parsons.
Jack Parsons.
Yeah, Alan Parsons.
You said
Alan.
Alan.
Oh, did I say Alan Parsons?
Project.
Talking about
confused
the
you
Alan
from
Parsons
earlier.
project,
Yeah,
they're linked
yeah.
into it. You got ELO linked into it. You
Well,
got,
I mean, Alan Parsons wrote "Eye in the
Got
Sky."
Jefferson Starship
Right.
and Jefferson Airplane in there too.
yeah.
Whoa, whoa,
Alan
whoa.
Parsons wrote "Eye in the Sky," and Sirius is the first part of that. So I wouldn't,
That's right.
I wouldn't
What's
count
that
them
from?
out of it. But
From oh shit, the Mike Myers movie. Dr. Evil's going. I have this,
Austin
this
Powers.
evil,
Austin
Austin
Powers.
Powers. I have
It's
this
going
evil
to
plan.
be the Alan Parsons
This
project.
project, yeah,
His son just laughs at him because he's a fucking retard.
yeah.
yeah,
So this load I was supposed to pick up here at fucking Amazon wasn't supposed to be finished, wasn't supposed to be ready for pickup until 7:30 where I'm at. Somebody fucking picked it up yesterday at 2:30. So this whole fucking time they told me I had a load going to Salt Lake City from Denver, and they fucking lied to me.
so you
So
get
now I
there
gotta
and-
fucking shut down. Yeah, I gotta fucking shut down for the night and then fucking. God damn it! I really fucking
Sure.
hate this shit.
Are you out money or I mean?
No, I'm not out money. I'm just pissed off because I mean it's just like
Okay.
it affects my paycheck if I don't get enough miles.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, okay. So you might be out money then.
No, I mean, yeah.
You
I've
probably
got like
won't be.
$1,000 to my name, so I mean, I can survive.
Yeah, it still sucks, especially you're prepared to do something, get ready. All right, I'll go do this, and no, sorry about that.
What
Change
was
plans,
it?
buddy.
Where was I at though?
The Alan Parsons Project.
Well, Jack Parsons and the UFOs and stuff. What was before that? That made me say that. That's what I don't remember. Where I was going with that, because it was something brought it up.
Oh, we were talking about the numerology and how it's linked to astrology.
Oh, when I was talking about Alan Greenfield and the secret cipher
Right.
of the Euphonauts.
Yep.
And
Which I got the PDF for there.
right. Alan Greenfield was a member of the OTO, and he left. And he's a very interesting guy. But he, the secret cipher of the Euphanaut, that's kind of the newest code that they're using. He cracked it kind of, well, in his book, he cracks it via the UFO experiencer stories and stuff, and like things that supposedly aliens said and stuff like that, or Men in Black and shit like that. And supposedly, of course, like I said, and I think at the time he wrote it, he was like high up in the OTO, so he might have been putting some information out there, but doing it in a way that he wasn't actually giving up secrets. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
It's not uncommon for some of them. They,
right.
You know, it's like anything. You know, somebody does something, and you know, and it's really big and special. They want to kind of brag about it, right? You know, but they got to be careful about how they do it. But they still want to have that gratification, like, yeah, I did this, you know, or I'm a part of this, or
yeah. And so, like, and that was actually part of the thing. That's one of the reasons why he left the OTO, because he was getting bitched at for the fucking UFO books he wrote and shit. And he's like, what the fuck? You're in a goddamn, you know what I mean?
yeah, it's all a scam. Like all those people that were involved, like that foot doctor and all that. It's all bullshit.
Right.
Yeah. What the hell was that foot doctor's name?
Well, it's using symbolism. So when they say that, they're not lying but they're speaking like in code.
Yeah.
You know.
God, I wish I could. Stanton Friedman and all them guys. They're all.
Yeah.
So they're all occultists.
Yeah. Who was the one guy that really like connected the UFOs to occultism and like the Bigfoot and the cryptids and shit like that?
Oh, that was that fucking Heaven's Gate guy.
No, not the Heaven's Gate guy.
Was that Greer? Stephen Greer?
No, before Greer. Well, yeah, I mean, he's still around too. No, Greer's like a CIA asset. But...
Oh yeah, he's absolutely he is. I know that for a fact.
Who, Scott Greer? Sorry, you got there.
Well, it's funny how you keep running across the same fucking last names places, isn't it?
Yep. That ain't a coincidence.
Yeah, I know. That's why I pointed that out.
There's a whole there's like, it really is like that cheesy metaphor by Michael Meyer.
Well, this looks like an interesting book.
About the onions and the layers. There's layers to this shit.
Oh, Shrek. Ogres are like
yeah.
onions.
Yep. And that's how this stuff is, man. You get to one layer and you're like, okay, I think I got it. Oh, wait a minute. And then you find out there's another layer, and then another, and then another. But
John Keel is who I was trying to think of.
Who?
John Keel.
Oh, yeah.
Who might be a fucking alphabet guy, too. Who knows? But he's has some interesting shit, that's for sure.
I think he was.
Yeah, but he definitely connects some dots that you don't see most of the time. I really think the alphabet's because they do this on purpose too. Is that they throw people in so that when you get to a certain nugget of information, it opens up a whole nother can of misinformation that they throw in to throw you off the track. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how you figure out, like, it's in the early days of researching this and stuff. Kind of how we figured out how to tell when what you found was true is that the trail didn't kind of peter off. It opened up into a whole new world of bullshits, you know? That's how you knew you were getting close to something. And the occultism and the political, economic stuff and the weird super, like, UFOs and shit like that, I was always interested in all of it. So I'd always researched all, but coming from different angles. And then they all just kind of met up, and you're like, oh, holy shit.
Yup.
Once you figure it out, you know?
Yeah, shit starts clicking into place.
Yeah. Dr. Edward Condon, he's an interesting one, too. He wrote the final government report on UFOs in 1969. Yeah, final my ass, but...
Yeah.
He stated that most UFO sightings have been in the nature of apparitions. These difficulties led us to conclude that it is quite unproductive of results of scientific value to study UFOs in the traditional manner. Perhaps we need a national magic agency to make a large and extensive study of all these matters, including the future scientific study of UFOs.
You're talking about the Berkshire's report, right?
Yeah, it was the final report of the Project Blue Book in 1969.
Okay, so yeah, that's probably what it was. It was written by Condon.
Well, there's all the new shit coming out, like the footage that the Pentagon released of that encounter with the F-18 had off of the coast of San Diego.
Jacques Vallée, that was the other guy I was trying to think of. Jacques Vallée.
Yeah. And you know, these guys are all guys that were like coast to coasters back in the day too, you know, getting their message out, and they go to these conferences and they get to make a buck and they get to put out a bunch of disinfo.
Yeah, it was a grift for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely a grift. It still is, I guess, but now these days it's mostly getting eaten up by like fucking, what was the one that the guy from Blink 182?
Oh, he's another one that's an asset.
Yep.
Tom DeLonge.
Tom DeLonge. I mean, he was in the fucking email dumps talking to fucking oh, fuckhead, Sparky. You know who I'm talking about?
John Podesta.
Yeah, John Podesta.
Ooh.
Yeah, Podesta's really into the UFO shit too.
And then their conversation was really interesting if you look at that email dump. Because they were talking about like some extra dimensional intelligence and shit, trying to give them 0 point energy, and I think, honestly, I think that Tom DeLonge is just what they call a useful idiot, that they're feeding him what they want him to think, so that, you know, so he does what they want.
Yep, and it's a grift for him too. Just gets to stay relevant and make some money.
But they started that To the Stars Academy. That's what I was trying to think of. They started the To the Stars Academy.
$1 million to get in. All this bull crap. Yeah, it's a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah. Whitley Strieber is another interesting cat.
Oh, jeez.
Like I said, you can't take what they're saying at face value, but some of the stuff they say, if you can read between the lines.
And then there's the one of the other ones that I'm surprised hasn't come up, which is old boy from Vegas there.
Which is?
Oh, what the hell was his name now? Greer? Guy, I worked at Area 51 and I did these you know, I went to MIT and I did these alien crafts at Area 51. He did like race cars and shit and made explosives.
Yeah.
The hell was that? The hell was that guy? He's huge. He's like the most famous one. Got the big nerdy glasses. He got arrested. He was making explosives and shit. What the hell was his name? He's like the
Oh,
most...
you're talking about Bob Lazar?
Bob Lazar. Thank you.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Can't believe I forgot his name. He's like the most famous one out of all of them.
Well, he was the one, yeah, because he had that. He went on.
What's his
Fox
name? Show
back
there.
in the '90s and did the whole like.
He went
Oh,
on.
this is how
the hell was that?
how
the
the
guy, that
spaceships
Vegas
work
guy.
and shit.
Yeah, you went on the Vegas guy's show.
Fuck
was,
you. Fuck you.
The hell's his name?
Sorry, I wasn't
He
talking to you guys.
does guest host on Coast to Coast sometime, but he
George
he was
Norrie?
a what's
no,
that?
guest host.
Oh.
Uh,
Okay.
George Knapp,
Yeah.
Yeah. I know
and
who you're
that's
talking
where he worked out with George Knapp and the guy who owned that ranch, that Skinwalker's ranch,
about. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bob Lear or something Lear or whatever, the guy with the Lear jets,
Yeah.
and
Maybe it is Bob Blair. Yeah.
and they put out all that stuff, concocted his story, all that stuff. But I mean, all I know is when you work in those kinds of, like, you work at Area 51 or you just don't talk about that stuff, man. Like those people don't talk. That's why, like, you go into naval intelligence and you get into high intelligence, they're all Masons, because
Mhm.
Masons know how to keep their fucking mouth shut.
That's not the
And-
only reason why, but yeah.
No, but
I mean, yeah, because like he gets away, you can get people killed. You know,
Right,
like, you know,
could cause
yeah,
all kinds of
loose lips sink ships. You know, you don't
Right.
want to fucking get soldiers killed because now the enemy knows about some of our shit. You know.
But yeah,
It's,
supposedly in most of the major alphabet agencies across the world, that you have to be at least a Royal Archmason
yeah.
to be an actual agent or whatever.
Yeah,
So-
if you want to get your hands on, like, the real work, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're just doing the normal stuff anybody would do there.
Yeah, otherwise you're just doing basically grunt work or whatever. You know?
Yeah, and analysis and looking at satellite images, doing whatever.
And you're really
yeah.
compartmentalized, where you have no
Oh,
idea
it's
why
absolutely.
you're doing what you're doing. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's
When I remember when I first got my TS clearance, everyone was, I had friends. I was real happy. We went out and kind of had a dinner and stuff with some friends, and because that was a laborious process to go through to get clearance, and people are like, man, you're gonna be able to talk about UFOs and JFK, and I'm like, dude, that ain't how it works, man.
Yeah, they don't tell you that shit, dude.
No, dude, it's all compartmentalized, man.
You're doing like boring like data crunching and shit, and like I said, they don't even tell you what you're doing, so you don't even know why you're doing it. and
Well,
shit.
I got it when I was in the military, and it was to handle classified material, and or material that would become classified.
Yeah,
But it's the stuff I dealt with was all terrorism, counterterrorism.
and most
was
of
stuff-
the big shit, it's need to know basis anyway. So
Right,
And
right.
you don't need to know.
right,
Right. Like I'd pick up thumb drives, laptops, cell phones, but it's not like I was going through them. That's the CIA's job. That's somebody else's job.
Yeah.
But
But even if you do, I mean, like, I don't know how these things actually work. I never did any of them, but it's easy enough to give somebody a document or a audio recording and say, mark down the time or this place that you see any of these words. And here's a list of words. You have no idea why those words are important or what you're listening to, but you can do that data analysis job without having any idea what you're actually looking for.
yeah, exactly.
So
Which is-
speaking, oh sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, if you guys don't mind, just if I slightly change the subject ever so little. It's trending on Twitter right now. The guy, Chris Krebs, who is the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency Director.
Yep. That's the guy who just got fired, right?
Yeah, because he called the election secure.
Yeah.
Apparently, he gave some, ball fanning interview on 60 Minutes. And I clicked on the trend on Twitter, and the first post is Jeff Flake, the former Republican in name only.
Yeah.
Well, who knows what that really means these days, but the former senator from Arizona, he said, just watch the CBS 60 Minutes interview with Chris Krebs. So grateful for civil servants like Chris who stand up for election integrity in our institutions of government.
Yeah. Stand up for pretending we have election integrity. Oh.
So Congo, if they do overturn the election, if you are correct, I mean, this is just going to be absolutely nuts in terms of the amount of.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do it through like votes and overturning vote counts, because a lot of it they want
This fucking Mexican won't get out of my fucking way.
because they want it to look very questionable, you know.
Yeah.
So it'll go down to like Supreme Court decisions and state legislators doing shit and shit like that. Basically, what they'll do is undermine the confidence in the vote to where they'll be like, oh, we can't certify this at all. And, I mean, because people are getting death threats and shit, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that Georgia judge probably fucking changed his decision, you know, because it was like an hour later, you know what I mean? He probably got a phone call, you know what I mean? Was like, oh,
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
fucking kill your kids or whatever the fuck, you know?
Oh.
So,
Well, depends on who's making the call. You know, sometimes it's just seeing the phone number. You don't even, that person doesn't even need to say anything. You know, if that person's calling, what they're calling about, and what
Yeah.
it means.
yeah,
A lot of stuff goes unspoken.
yeah. But like the canvassers in Michigan, Detroit there, she was getting
Oh, yeah.
threats about
I
her
mean-
daughter and shit. Like,
Yeah.
Her family pet, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, everything. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, that's
Oh.
not the way like the professionals operate.
no, not at all.
Yeah, no. One more tweet in this little topic here. This is actually from the at 60 Minutes account. See if you guys can tell what the operative word or words in this tweet is. There's no evidence that voting machines were manipulated by foreign actors, says Chris Krebs.
Oh, of course there's not. How can you say that with such surety unless you know that the way they're set up, they don't keep logs and you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there
Well,
wouldn't.
no, I mean, my point is just that, like, yeah, there's no evidence.
Oh, and
that voting
foreign
machines were
interference,
manipulated by
yeah.
foreign actors.
And foreign actors, yeah, that's another big one too.
I mean, unless we're talking about foreign actors. Oh
Mm.
God.
Yeah.
Well, Israel's got their hands all over this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
are
and-
dual
and that's
citizens
not-
considered fucking foreign?
That's one
They're
thing.
rubbing
That's
hands.
one thing to remember too, is that anytime, like, if anything comes out that China's doing this or China's doing that, it's only with the help and direction and guidance and the okay of Israel,
That's right.
right? And you've gone on about this a bit, Congo.
Yeah. China's
it's-
China's is an arm of Israel.
Yeah, and it's not that they aren't a distinct group of people with their own interests and things in mind, but they're not going out and doing the things they're doing without somebody guiding them, because I don't think they're particularly capable of doing the stuff that they've been doing by themselves.
No, China's in Israel's pocket, and a lot of it has to do with the technology transfers. They're
Right.
just in debt. You know, I mean, you can go back to the founding of the CCP, and there's Russian Jews involved.
Well,
But
that's the thing.
any communist movement always seems to have
right,
a certain
but
ethnic group.
Israel
but
has decided they want to use fucking China instead of America these days. You know?
right, you know,
The-
it's a Russia, China, Israel thing, and even in Russia, there's so many factions. It's hard to
Yeah.
know exactly.
Yeah, they don't even like to use Russia as much these days because it's harder
No.
to pull shit off. Is
Right.
it
And,
Yeah.
China? They have a very centralized, autocratic government. So,
right. And
like,
G is while he doesn't give a shit about, you know, the founding of the CCP and all that, he's a degenerate himself,
yeah.
cross dresser into the S&M, all that crap. And homosexuality, all kinds of stuff that's frowned upon over there. But
I heard
he
he doesn't poop. Just kidding.
I have no idea, but I know he's into some sick stuff, but probably with poop
That's
too,
Kim Jong-un.
actually. But you know, G just wants the edge. You know, he wants the superpower status and the money and the power, all that jazz. So it's kind of a different angle, you know. Taiwan's a big motivator. They want control of Taiwan again. They
The
wanna-
one thing I always saw was interesting about G, and I kind of go back and forth on what to think about it, but I just think it's just by far the most important fact about him is that when he was a kid, he grew up during the Cultural Revolution.
Yep.
And his sister killed herself because of the
Who knows? Maybe it
pressure
was
that
himself.
the pressure that was put on her father and G's father. And G's father was like he was forced to do the whole basically kowtowing to the Communist Party and public flagellation and denunciation and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And 40, 50 years later, this guy's running the country.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
For life.
And I mean, like people, like frankly dumb people, kind of probably might be tempted to think, well, whoa, I guess that means that G won in the end. But like, no.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He surrendered basically.
Yeah. Well,
And
and
he was
I'm sure
amply
like he's
rewarded
not
for it.
really in charge of shit there. He's just the front guy.
No, it's all the Politburo and all that.
Yeah.
And then who knows who really guides them? It
G's
could very well
got-
be, like you say, Israel.
G's got, full power as far as the CCP's concerned. He's, president for life. He made himself.
Yeah, well, it's like when
like
back
Putin
in
did.
monarchy days, the king was the king, but his advisors and his bodyguards played a big role too, because bodyguards.
China's it's not a king though. China's a different system. They don't operate the way the West does.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's similar in that he's like probably the ultimate authority, but he's also probably one of the most manipulated people in the world.
Think about this: Vlad the Impaler was deemed kind of a demon and a bad guy because he went to war with the boyars, right? Same with the nobility of Wallachia. I guess that's what his kingdom was called. The same thing with the Russian guy Ivan the Terrible.
Yeah,
he went to war with his nobility because the nobility, they're the establishment. They're the guys who are actually hold things together. I mean, some of the who's famous? There's an English kingmaker. He survived. He was called the Kingmaker, for Christ's sakes. He survived like 4 or 5 different kings, and he was the guy who was actually, he didn't want to be king himself.
Yeah.
God, who the hell is that? I gotta.
But you're still, you're comparing Western civilization with Chinese. It's completely different, dude. The Chinese people are very obedient. It's part of their culture.
No, sure, but they have an establishment. They have an establishment too, right?
And the Xi has like all the people that dissented against Xi are either dead, in prison, or like old Miles Gao, if he really is a dissenter, out on the run. He eliminated his anybody who opposed him, and anybody who's left knows better. And the one that he answers to is Netanyahu. And whoever Netanyahu answers to, and you can go up the chain. So in a sense, yeah. But as far as in China, like there's nobody in that government that's even gonna say his name in anything but in a glorification type of a way.
Yeah.
He'll have your whole family killed.
No, absolutely. But I mean, once again, it's like any other ruler. They don't rule like no one man is powerful enough to keep a hold of that many people. Right?
Let's go talk to Genghis Khan.
No, but he wasn't one man who controlled everything. He had his nobility, just same as anything else.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember the Chinese people are unarmed. They're unarmed. So what are they going to do?
No, but they have a military that's armed. I mean, you
that worships him.
No, I know, but you could be executed he could be executed at any time too. Is all I'm getting at. I'm not don't want to get into an argument about it, but there's no man is an island.
Coming from that, this is the field that I worked in. I disagree completely, but you're entitled to your opinion. He's got that country in a cast iron grip. He ain't going anywhere.
Well, neither did Stalin, but once again, Stalin didn't have to pick up a gun and murder people. He had people do it for him. So as long as those people are loyal to him, any one of those people could have pulled out a pistol. Yeah, he would have died afterwards, but any one of those people could have pulled out a pistol and shot Stalin at any moment.
Well, who knows? Stalin might have been poisoned too.
Well, yeah, he probably was. But my point being is that this guy, if you have a bodyguard that stands next to you with a loaded weapon, they could kill you at any time.
Yeah, that's what I was driving at before.
Yeah, and you could
you could say that about anything.
Yes, that's my point.
That's kind of a non sequitur, man. That's a
no. My point.
One of the apostles could have turned around and stabbed Christ, but it didn't happen, and it's not gonna happen, Somebody could do the reason someone could do the same thing to Putin, but I tell you what, it ain't gonna happen.
The reason I brought that up was because, like, in my family history, going way back to like 7th, 8th, or probably like the 8th century or whatever, they were the Pictish kings, and they married into the Scots to create a unified Scotland. But what they did was they said, okay, the Scots will be the kings, but we'll be we'll be your bodyguards. So that as the only ones allowed to carry weapons around the king
is beholden to him.
Yeah, because
like the rise of the Praetorian Guard in imperial Roman times, where they eventually got to the point where they were literally selling off the emperorship, right? Like,
that's kind of why the Swiss go, because Switzerland is a right. Well, we could go into the Swiss pill. That's a whole another fun thing, but we don't have time for that. But the Swiss Guard, but it's openly a Protestant country. Why is the Pope guarded by the Swiss Guard? Yep. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same thing.
Well, because they're mercenaries, But I mean, the idea of the elite guard overthrowing the absolute monarch, that happened, like you said, air raid in ancient Rome. It happened in Byzantium, the Eastern Roman Empire. Yep. It happened in the Third Rome, Russia.
Yep.
Yep.
You know, and who knows? Maybe it happened in what I've heard some people call the Fourth Rome, which is the United States with John F. Kennedy.
JFK, yeah.
It absolutely did.
Anyways,
It's a time-honored tradition, yeah.
That was Maya Lansky and Jack Rubenstein and that whole network.
Weird. That was the Steins and Bergs, and it's just a coincidence, I'm sure.
Yeah, funny
Purely
how those
coincidence, boy.
keep popping up too, isn't it? Just a coincidence. Just a coincidence.
Don't look too far.
China is a unique place. They've been a civilization for almost 6,000 years.
Yeah. And the Chinese
They,
people are genetically very different than
Indeed they are.
Europeans. So.
Indeed they are.
You have you heard about the time of the romance of the Three Kingdoms?
Of course.
I found out. Okay, when I was a kid, I found out about this because I didn't know anything about Chinese history. I found out this through the fucking Nintendo game.
Of course, that was
romance,
a great Nintendo game.
It was actually. It still kind of stands up, to be honest.
It does.
The original. I've seen some of the remakes.
Yeah.
I've never played them, but I've seen clips of them, and I just think they had it. They had it there, and but it's the same kind of thing. No, they do it in their own Chinese way. Don't get me wrong, right? But they have their nobility, and they support they pick the ruler and support the ruler the same way everybody else in the world does. But yeah, they do it in their own Chinese way, and you can easily end up with a ruler who's too dangerous to kill.
Yeah.
But it's also very dangerous to be alive at the same time, right?
Yeah.
They, I don't know. I think Xi's pretty safe. I think.
Oh yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere.
I think as long as he keeps the Hebes in Israel happy, he'll be fine.
Yep. And
yeah, I'm sure.
He seems like the type of guy who he's not going to rock the fucking boat, right? He's clearly not interested in rocking the boat. China's on the upswing. He's in power. Why would he, fuck any of that up? And it's not like he's suddenly going to get a conscience, and go, oh, I'm going to start changing things up. And maybe this isn't the best way of doing things. He doesn't give a fuck about the peasants. Jesus. You can't get into power in a structure like that if you care about fucking people.
Yeah. But, all right, we're going to have to wrap it up, guys, because it's about that time. But anybody got any last things to add?
Elvis is going to shoot out of the Space Needle between June 10th and June 14th.
I am holding you.
Bro, I love that.
I did want to mention this because this kind of bothered me, and I just saw it. It was Georgia's Secretary of State Raffensperger demands the GOP condemn Trump supporters, calling them a wild mob.
Oh yeah, just condemn 73 million people that voted for you. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, but not the actual wild mob of feral blacks destroying the country.
Exactly.
Yes,
Brilliant.
exactly.
Thank you.
Blacks.
Dude, it's all humiliation. This is another humiliation ritual.
Absolutely.
Oh man.
Trump just tweeted out he retweeted Dan Scavino. He was showing a video of one of his rallies, and he said, in all caps, "No way we lost this election," with an exclamation part. So that he did that 5 minutes ago. So very, very topical.
Good old Donnie the Dum Dum.
What happened? I was away taking a piss outside. What happened?
Outside, bro. What happened to your Arizona bottle?
Oh yeah,
It
you're
still has
slipping,
tea
boy.
in it. It's still full of tea. I'll piss in it when it's empty.
I thought you were recycling. Oh, I should not have said that.
All right, boys. I'm gonna log off.
Did you send me
All right.
this? Because that's okay. Yeah,
All right,
definitely.
all right, see
So I'm
ya.
like the Space Needle connection to 911. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
Congo must
to
have
my-
sent me that.
I did. Go to JL's YouTube, man. I'm telling you, dude. He lays it out, man. He lays it. He's the one who discovered it, so he gets all the credit, and can explain it.
Can you
better
link
than
that?
me.
In the,
Yeah, can
in
you
the
throw a link
group
in the chat there?
I'm gonna sign off
Yeah.
too, guys. Take
Yeah,
it
I
easy.
can.
See you later, Johnny. Have a good night, bro.
And this is what
Here,
we're
I'll
gonna
just-
go into tomorrow, right? So
I'll put
Okay,
his
do some reading up on it.
Yeah.
put his
I-
channel in here for you in the Twitter's thing there. Now
I'm
keep
gonna
in
put
mind,
it in
man.
the D Live and the YouTube chat. The link to that video.
Yeah, just you gotta have the
You'll find his
background.
channel
from there.
You can't start at the latest thing. You're not gonna not understand what's going on. You gotta kind of go back in the timeline there.
Yeah, I definitely want some prep on that. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
I don't even have to talk about it tomorrow if you guys are gonna friggin' do it. I mean, if you're gonna learn more by watching him. He's
I'm
the
sure
one.
there's much to discuss.
Yeah, but we're also talking not just for our own. Anybody who's listening too might need a guiding hand, and definitely having you kind of guided along would be a good idea, right?
Exactly. Like it's not just us; it's everybody listening and all that good stuff. You know.
All right, night Jacob, night
millions
Murray,
of people.
night Jamie,
Oh,
night
I'm gonna
Congo.
do the chest before everybody
should,
goes.
Check
on
out
D-Live.
JL's one of he's got 4 pages. They're all the same name, but yeah, you should check out his work.
But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. And
I'm going to go ahead and hop out of the call too. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Alright,
Later. Murray, good having you, sir.
Yeah, thank you guys. Seriously, this was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Alright.
welcome
Alright,
anytime. So doing the chest, and then I'll do the song.
Oh, speak of my brother. He just signed. He's just started up. So
Nice.
Because I've seen this video years ago, but I just wanna. I never showed it. Nobody's gonna.
All right, Murray got the big one with 30. Congo got second with 17.8. Hank with 13. Hate Joggers with 10. Great name there. And Otter with 9. Oh, also reminds me, people were asking about I should do some Friend Report merch. So I talked to Otter Friend who did our title page there, and I will be putting that together over the next day or two too. So coming soon, Friend Report merch. So good night, everybody.
Texas won't let me in. I ain't gonna be here long. Not afraid I'm going. I ain't gonna be here long, oh Lord. I ain't gonna be here long. But my heart it sure ain't pumping like it used to do. Lord knows I bump my leg and it turns black and blue. Yes, it does. Now they say that it's unhealthy the way that I live. My liver's gone, my lungs are shot, and my heart's about to give. But I ain't gonna let that bother me, no. So I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son. I ain't gonna let that bother me, none, oh Lord. So I'm drinking, smoking, gun to rebel son.